We're back from holidays. Hello, everybody. Today is Saturday, the 14th of August, I think it's 21. And yes, we are back from our week off, and I hope you are all very well today. So we'll try and get into the groove like we normally do. So a little bit of news. So this is it. Here we go. The big news in pop culture land this week, and this is big news, is the meetup in Las Vegas with Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, Sober, 3PO, Comics Division, to name but a few. It all looked very, very exciting, as wasn't there only in cardboard cutouts. Poor as. Did look very good. Maybe next year, boys and girls, maybe next year we'll go. If we're allowed to travel, that is. So, okay. So, on the TV front this week, 2 new cartoons dropped. First was the second series of Star Trek Lower Decks. And new was Marvel's What If. What If streamed on Disney Minus. So we'll discuss those in a moment or two. So shall we get the guests out? We've got a lot to get through. So yeah, let's get the guests out. So first up, a YouTube giant in his own mind and time travel experts. It's Cockney Spock.
Hello, good evening and bollocks. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Are you?
Yep, good, thank you. I can't work out which universe I'm from. I think this is Cockney from Universe D and I'm in Universe F, but I don't know. But it sounds good already.
Yeah, it does. I don't think we're in Universe A anymore, but there you go. There you go. What can we say, eh? What can you say? Oh, in fact, he's dropped off. I just get the feeling, boys and girls, tonight is going to be one of those shows. So he's back.
So you're right, we're not in Universe A anymore.
No.
I just phased into Universe Z. Good there. Okay, sorry about that. Oh dear. Internet's working though, at least there's that.
It's going to be one of those streams. One of those streams.
The Vegas thing though. I'm so excited on the Vegas thing because, as some of you already know, Gary has weighed in on the most important question of both centuries. Is Deckard a replicant? Gary has offered an answer. That's all I'm saying. He's in. He's weighed it in. Brilliant.
Yes, and I do believe he was sitting on the fence, but there you go.
Yeah, a balanced approach. There should be no answer. But ironically enough, by sitting on the fence, he's now directly opposed to both Burnett and Doomcock, who are opposed to each other. So it's like a Mexican standoff on the Deckard question amongst the big hitters of YouTube.
Yeah, so basically he's not getting involved yet.
Good lads. He's right. That is the answer. There is
it
no
is,
answer.
mate. It is. It is.
If I hear one more 3-word definitive answer, I'll tell you what, my head's going to explode.
I know the feeling, mate. Shall we get the next guest out? I think we should. Let's get the next guest out.
Let's do it.
Here she is. She's the princess of Xanadu, but she's the queen of this channel, all the way from the land of Texas Shire. It's Reni.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Fine. Are you?
Doing fine. Doing fine. I want to say hello to the chat because we're nothing without the chat.
You know that.
Especially in November.
November, my favorite month.
That's right. Just play November Rain as your opening
I
song.
I love November. I do. The dark, long nights, the grey drizzle, the grey clouds, the cold temperatures.
Perfect weather for coffee and tea.
I love November, I do.
And that's before you even step outside.
Especially before I step outside. So, are you well, Reni?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well actually. As you guys know, I'm at the parental's place, so
Oh, yes.
their internet's actually working. I think they got decent internet out here. I'm like, what the? It's better than mine. I don't know what's going on.
The mic sounds good today, so yeah, everything sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We will. Shall we get the next guest out?
Do it.
Well, on my script there is a guest, but he's not here, so we'll get the next one out. Okay, so next up, get your lightsabers at the ready. A true Star Wars fan in every sense of the word, all the way from Glas. That's Glas, Vegas.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes.
I wonder why
have-
you're over enunciating that.
Oh, I wonder why. Anyway,
don't
is here
know.
not Brian McReady?
Evening, Mr. Brown. Evening, chat. Evening,
Hello.
Reni, Cockney, and fellow guests who are about to come on. How are we all?
Nice to
Good.
be here
You?
with you guys.
I'm not bad at all. This late summer evening. Yourselves?
Are you a
Yes.
fan of November, Brian?
No, it's my least favourite month, I think.
Oh no.
Oh,
Apart
late
from November the 5th. November the 5th,
late
okay.
summer
Yeah.
Remember the 5th of November.
late summer evenings. That means, you know what that means, don't you? November.
Kids that won't go to bed if it's round my way.
Oh, November, nearly here.
I tell you what, I'm so freaking confused.
November.
Just 3 months away.
Yay!
It's August over here. I've spent the last 15 years reprogramming my brain unsuccessfully
And your throat.
that giving up cigarettes is actually good for your throat in the long term.
It sounds like it, mate.
What for? It's August. 15 years. I've gotten used to the idea that August is actually February. And now I'm looking out the window and it's a lovely sunny day. So now apparently it's February and yet it feels like August. I don't know what to think anymore.
Never
It's
know what
August,
you're going to
it's
get in
February.
Hobbiton.
You never know what you get. Trixie Hobbitses.
But
Certainly won't be getting any Lord of the Rings because that's moved to the UK.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. That's
Lord-
weird, right?
No, none of that. Lord of the Onion Rings. That's it now.
12 weeks time, November. Yes. Shall we get the next guest out?
Think you better.
Because the way we're going on, it'll be November before we get him out.
Oh, nice November reference.
Oh,
That wouldn't be, too bad.
well, that
anyway.
wouldn't be fair to him, though.
No.
I'll tell you what though. Top
What?
trivia. It's called November because it's the 9th month, but it's the 11th month. In my forthcoming book on the calendar, you better just drop out.
Oh Lord.
Indeed.
Last,
Thank you, bye, mate.
but by no means least, he's the jester from Leicester, the channel's very own fence painter, interior design specialist, novelist, Star Wars fan, and meme machine. It's Demonscythe, Swapshop.
Oh, I don't know what universe I'm in anymore.
Neither do we.
Honestly, don't know. I think they've been colliding one too many hard-ons in CERN.
Oh,
Ooh.
Is that what it is called? The Large Hadron Collider? That explains
Yeah.
everything. It's literally a bag of trans-dimensional dicks.
Yeah, honestly, they're having a bloody jousting tournament over there. I don't feel like
Johnny Sins and Peter North.
I don't feel like reality is reality anymore. It's just weird. It's really weird. Like,
So do you
just-
feel like we're in Inception, where you're in a dream within a dream inside that dream?
Don't
That's a
start that.
very scary way of thinking about it. I think maybe the world ended. Like CERN created a black hole, the entire world was destroyed, and aliens took all our minds and placed them in a holographic universe for us to continue our lives, unbeknownst to what actually happened in the past.
Yeah,
Yes.
time
Oh,
what I was thinking.
has speeded up since they turned it on. 10
I
minutes.
think there is that. You know that episode of Star Trek: Next Generation where the holodeck creates Moriarty to combat Data.
Yep.
I reckon we're all inside that fake holographic universe that they gave Moriarty at the end to try and fool him into thinking that he had freedom. I think we're in there.
I think we'll
explains
end it
it.
there.
Give us
shall
all a
we?
Lamborghini each or something. Keep it going.
Shall we end it there?
Anyway, should we get on with the
Moving
show?
on.
Stream killer.
I'm like, man,
Okay.
this is yeah.
Okay, so let's get to it then. So this week, this is for the British people who are watching Una, or is it Una? Stubbs died. So we'll just quickly do a little bit about Una Stubbs. 1937 to 12th of August 2021. Certain people of our generation will know her as Aunt Sally from Wurzel Gummidge.
Aunt Sally.
And
Yeah.
Wurzel Gummidge Down Under. Don't forget that spin off.
Oh, right, okay. I did not know. So she passed away this week. She was also in, more recently, Sherlock, wasn't she? So, yeah, she was with Benedict Cumberbatch and, is it Martin Freeman? Yeah. So she was in that.
Yeah.
She, while I was looking through the list on Internet Movie Database, I remember that she was in the quiz show in Britain. Give us a clue. Do you remember that, Matt?
I do. I remember pretty much everything, right from Wurzel Gummidge to Give Us a Clue to, oh God, what else was she in?
Death
It's a
is
book.
till death
a
us
play.
do part.
It's
Yeah,
a film.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
3
she was
words,
really young in that, wasn't she? My
2
God.
Yeah.
syllables. Sounds like
Faulty
Death of
Towers.
the
She was in an episode of that.
Oh, was she?
And she was a regular in the Dick Emery show, which I loved as a kid, and the
you
Stanley
are
Baxter
awful.
show.
But I like you.
But I like
Yeah.
That's the definition of sandpaper underpants, isn't it? That?
Oh,
Yikes.
Thursdays only.
Ouch.
Dick Emery.
Oi! I'm a
I
bit
like it.
very slow tonight.
But I'm
Dick-
pissed.
Dick Emery will never get made now. But there you
Never.
go. So,
No.
as I said, to a certain generation,
Or
she-
Benny Hill.
yeah, poor Benny Hill. So, as I said, to a certain generation, especially people age, my age, growing up with Aunt Sally, Wurzel Gummidge, that was probably the first time I saw her on TV. And then, as I said, the next kind of thing for me was Give Us a Clue. So, Till Death Us Do Part was a little bit before my time. So yeah, then as I said, more recently was Sherlock. So so we'll just say rest in peace, Una Stubbs. So okay, so shall we move on to the next thing? This is where we need the Mega Geeks. It's Doctor Who time.
Oh,
Do
Doctor
it.
Who. We'll do our best to fill in. Oh, is this going to be about
Yeah.
Michael Sheen rumours?
No, it's
British bloke. Racist. Nationalist.
yes,
Straczynski.
J. Michael Straczynski. I can never say his.
Straczynski. I know.
Looking at the tweets, I think the guy is desperate to show run Doctor Who. What do you think, Matt?
I reckon he might be quite good. I don't think that it needs to be a fully British production team working on it at all. I don't even think it needs to be a British actor. As long as he can pull off the Doctor and sort of fake an accent like David Tennant did, yeah, happy days. Who cares? As long as you can do it right. You know, I don't think it really cares where people are from. This guy's a talent. I reckon he could do a damn good job, better than probably the last 2 or 3 showrunners of the program. Double him up with Michael Sheen, and yeah, I think we've got a great show.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said, Matt. Absolutely.
I don't personally. I don't. I would say probably in the BBC's arrogance, they probably don't think they have a problem, or they can just pick and choose who they want.
They're blind. They're completely blind.
Yeah,
Or they just want to prove a point and show everybody that they're right. No, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hire Miss Karen Smith or whoever, and she's going to run the show, and the doctor's going to
Karen.
be trans or hermaphrodite with blue hair. And yeah, it's going to be great.
blue hair bad.
Blue hair
I
The
bad?
Radio,
go on, Brian.
the Radio Times ran an article this week saying that the acknowledge in some of the programs, and they tend to be a kind of BBC biased, the Radio Times.
They do.
Saying that the show needs to regenerate but not die. They also said that never mind with the white males, we'll get someone else in, a bit more exotic.
Yeah. Like I told you guys, for me, the only way they can save it is if Peter Capaldi's version of the Doctor wakes up and it was all just a bad dream, or he was hallucinating by going through, like Doctor Who's version of the Nexus or whatever from Star Trek, something to where it wasn't real. Jodie never happened. It's not canon. The Timeless Child was not who the Doctor really was. He did not originate as a female. The first incarnation was indeed William Hartnell. It's the only way it can be saved for me. Otherwise, I am not interested in moving on with it.
Bravo!
Reckon the
Bravo!
reckon.
I totally agree with you, Reni. It would be the most easiest way to sort all this mess out. Literally, get Peter Capaldi back and just say, "Fuck, that was a bad dream."
Yeah, but they're going to have to kiss his ass big time because BBC really screwed him over. And, he wanted to stay. And then the next year he wanted to leave. You tell me that wasn't them twisting his arm and say, you need to get out, mofo. You're going to have to accept it, go public, and retract your statement or, supersede what you said last year or whatever. That's not right. So they're going to have to kiss his ass if they want him back. But you know what? It's worth it because even though, yes, he wasn't as popular, yes, the writing wasn't as great as it had been during the previous showrunners era, he still is a great actor. He still caused a lot of feelings with all the horrible writing that he had to deal with. He had some of the greatest speeches. I loved him as the Doctor. Absolutely loved him as the Doctor.
Yeah, Moffat was okay, but towards the end, the BBC were driving all the woke shit, especially when Capaldi. Capaldi got the rough end of the stick in more ways than one.
He did.
He really did. And it wasn't right. You drive him out and then you make him force the woke agenda on you in the last couple of seasons to get you ready for this next, huge steaming pile of bullshit. I mean, that's not right.
Yeah, his tenure was basically just a setup for the crap, wasn't it?
It really was, Matt.
A waste, yeah.
It really was. You were exactly right. And that's not fair because, you didn't get to see him live up to his full potential. And he had so much. He's probably one of the best actors I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he's classically trained. He has an Oscar for crying out loud. He is an amazing actor. Yeah, I think it was for a short, but he has an Oscar. He's the only Oscar award-winning actor that starred in Doctor Who already having an Oscar.
I mean, not that the Oscars these days are really worth anything, but back then it probably was. But I thought Capaldi was amazing. First film I ever saw him in was Lair of the White Worm. I don't know if anyone else has seen that. Probably Brian. But that's a really sort of great camp, dark comedy horror movie from filmed in the UK in the late 80s, I think. But if you haven't seen it, go and watch it because he's fantastic in it. He's really young in it, but he's great in it. And I've loved him ever since then. And
Ken Russell directing?
I think it could have been, actually. Amanda Donahoe's one of the main characters in it.
Ding dong.
Oh, exactly. There are some nice ladies in it. I can tell you now, some nice ladies in it. But yeah, that's one of my favourite horror movies from the 80s. If no one's seen it, by the way, just make sure you catch it online somewhere because it's fantastic. But yeah, Capaldi, just for Capaldi alone, watch it. But
the first time
is amazing.
The first time I ever saw Peter Capaldi was in the Christmas special of Rab C. Nesbitt episode.
Oh my God.
And he plays a preacher, and Rab's there trying to support him, and he eventually, in true Capaldi's fashion, he snaps and tells Rab where to go to take a hike.
PJ was about that earlier.
It's very fun. I'll send you the link.
Oh, Cruel's on my page right there. Good old lad.
Yeah, Cruel, Birab, hail Cruel. Just moved as I was pressing it. I saw a layer of the white worm. And then MC, hello MC. A layer of the white worm based on a Bram Stoker story.
Oh,
it is.
That's really awesome.
Yes, it's about vampires, but they're not bat vampires. They're like snake vampires. It's really cool.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued because I love vampire stuff, but not like the cheesy, sparkly ones.
Oh no, it's definitely not that.
Okay.
And then hail Stephen Amore. Stephen Amore.
Brown's daddy.
Yes.
Hugh Grant, that was it. Yeah, Hugh Grant was in it. Yeah.
Brian, do you want to do the? Do you want to do this one?
Stephen Amore in the chat says, Lair of the White Worm. Watch it for Amanda Donahoe and Hugh Grant at his most mahogany. How would you rate it in the Daisy Ridley scale of wooden acting, Stephen? 1 to 10.
Daisy being peak mahogany.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Is the shade of wood being slightly racist for certain trees there? Because
Possibly.
That's true.
Yeah,
Like, is the stain too light or dark?
that's what she said. So we are all agreed.
Silly interjections.
Yes.
Takes away from the serious discussion.
Moving on. We're all agreed Capaldi for us would be the easiest way to sort it all out. But also, we'd pretty much welcome him with open arms because he was a damn fine. I think he was a great doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. He deserves a fair
Yeah,
shot.
he deserved. Yeah. But the fans' favourite seems to be Michael Sheen at the moment.
You know, I would be okay with him too, but they need to retcon the retcon. I don't want to move on with the story. I'm not okay with the timeless child bullshit. I hate the cheesy master and like all the stupid crap. Oh look, I made a sonic screwdriver of my own out of spare parts in a busted
Dildo.
garage. And yeah,
This is
exactly.
Doctor Who with a freaking A-team.
Stephen Amore, it's a Defo 9. He has improved so much. Wonder if Ken Russell was pissing himself while watching you. So, J. Michael Straczynski, he wants the job, but I don't think it's going to happen because for me, the BBC beggars can't be choosers, but
Yeah.
I would probably imagine that people at the BBC don't even know who this guy is in their arrogance, but there you go.
Who is he?
I really think they should have given Stephen King's son a chance at least writing the show. He would have done way better than what we got
It'd
from
be nice
Twin
if he had his
Balls.
own name. Imagine going through life. Hello, Stephen King's son. Reservation for two. Stephen King's son.
He goes
Plus
by the name
one.
Joe Hill because if he goes
yeah,
by
got it,
Joe
right.
King, it's joking. Get it?
But Wayne.
So he goes
what
by
about
Joe
Wayne
Hill.
King.
Wayne Kerr.
Even better. Simple
Or
mind.
Mike Hunt, who I actually know a guy in the past called Mike Hunt. So
What
Phil
about IP
McCracken.
Freely?
I me freely. I got a phone call for
Or Jacques Strap.
freely in the house.
Oh, I miss when the Simpsons were good.
That was funny.
20 years ago. So
Yeah.
with regards to Doctor Who, I don't know about you guys. I think the BBC are going to double down hard.
Yeah, of course they will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the rest of this stuff. Of course they will.
I think they're going to double down so hard it's going to make your eyes water. But
Yeah. I agree.
that's just me. Okay, so right.
So I will not be
Like an
watching.
opal fruit. Oh, that's amazing.
J. Michael Straczynski wrote Babylon 5, by the way, Cockney, which is one of the greatest sci-fi series ever. But
He has
heard
what
of
it
this
takes.
Babylon 5.
He's
I
just
hear
not
it's
going to be
quite
given the
good.
chance.
yeah, Babylon 5 is amazing. So moving on from that, we'll quickly mention ScarJo again.
Nice ass, big lawsuit.
Yeah, apparently she's been black booked now, hasn't she? I've heard.
Oh,
Oh,
unlike
boy.
Emma Stone. It's like
Is she
her
being
lawsuit,
blacklisted
just
in
right.
Hollywood?
I've
Blackballed, blacklisted,
Yes.
blackmailed.
some of the
Black
bigger
Widow,
channels have basically been saying that she's been.
black-pilled.
Yeah. So is that going to be the
Well-
end of her career, or
I don't know. Because if anybody else
Does she
sees
care?
what Disney is doing,
Well, she ain't getting any younger.
they
is
might
she?
scoop her
Yes.
up for something
Then
else.
It's
What
over.
if
It's done.
What if DC doubles down and tries to hire her, and then she plays some DC action hero and
yeah.
brings all the fans over to that side, and then Disney's like, oh, FML. I mean, it could happen.
Oh, it could happen. That would be the smart move.
James Gunn did it.
Yeah. And it kind of, well, it did, but it didn't fare well for him. It's getting good reviews, but they shouldn't have released it to HBO Max because it lost him money.
Yeah, that wasn't a good idea, was it? Especially now that the people are coming back into the cinemas. So
Yeah, no, I don't mind because I have HBO Max, but I'm just saying,
With their mobile
it's-
phones.
yeah,
exactly. So, if I don't have to leave my home anymore, I really don't. I've gotten to the point where, for the longest time, you were discouraged from going anywhere. And then when you did go somewhere, you had to wear a mask. And then, people would shame you if you didn't wear one because I forgot to wear one sometimes. And people were like, I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot, and now we don't have to wear them. But now it's kind of too late because I don't really want to go anywhere anymore,
Is it fair to say this is a unique moment in time where we've actually got a choice of seeing a first-run movie in the cinema, or those of you with the internet to do it on the downloading service? Like you can literally choose: do I go to the cinema or do I watch the same thing at home? That's pretty much a first, isn't it?
Exactly.
I think the days of cinema are numbered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I want to say it was Tom
If they
at
don't at least
Midnight's.
do a window.
I want to say it was Tom at Midnight's Edge After Dark that said, you know what, streaming services are going to kill the cinema industry. And he was right. He was right.
I think you might get some kind of
showing films
old
at the same
school
time.
places, like I think of the Grosvenor in Glasgow up here. It's a very, very old-fashioned cinema, leather seats. You can still have a drink in it and stuff. That kind of thing will still be around, little niche places. But I think the rest of these are really unknown.
MC in the chat says, I don't want to go out anymore.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. And also, a practical thing other channels have been talking about. No joke coming here, and it's not even that interesting, but I'll play it through anyway. Just the idea that some people have been saying on their channels, well, I'd rather go to the cinema to watch a film so I can focus on it, because at home I'm going to be checking my phone and making a cup of tea and having a way. And that's true, but so I went to the cinema, indeed, to see Black Widow, as mentioned before. Teenagers on their bloody phone watching yet another movie.
I hate that.
So if I can, basically I'm distracted everywhere I go. Distracted in the cinema with someone else's phone, distracted at home with my own phone. There's always a phone distracting me. I'm talking to a phone right now.
It's almost like
so I'm always distracted. I just can't watch films anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like
I can't watch films.
Now we've been programmed. And it's just not the young people. It's everybody. It's the mobile phone. We're just there. We're just distracted by everything. Oh, bright lights. Oh.
Yeah,
I was talking
to my dad earlier, and I had an email pop up, and he just walked away. I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to be rude."
Bright lights.
Yeah, it's true. That's basically what we're trying to do. I will say, I do miss like the whole I love going to the movies, and I loved eating like a big bucket of popcorn with extra butter and having my candy and all that stuff. I like that experience. But at the same time, I've gotten too used to not going anywhere that I just don't want to do it anymore. And that's awful. I hate feeling like that.
You're becoming like Bruce Willis in the film Surrogates. No one's seen that?
I haven't. No. I know what you mean.
No, I'm sorry, Brian.
Everyone stays at home, and instead of going out, they have kind of androids that look a bit like them, look like a kind of beautified version of the person who owns it, and they all use a virtual reality simulation with all these surrogates walking about instead of them.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that many years ago. It's quite an old film, isn't it? If I remember rightly, it's probably about maybe 20 years old. Maybe?
No, it's not as old as that. But 2008, 2009.
Oh, okay.
6 weeks
old. 5 years old, is it? Something like that.
10 days. 5 minutes.
Was it when Bruce gave a shit?
Oh,
no, I think it was past then.
Oh,
right, okay.
After 86.
So we'll quickly finish off ScarJo.
Well, hey.
The tweet says the Screen Actors Guild have accused Disney of gender shaming and bullying Scarlett Johansson over Black Widow pay dispute. Screen Actors Guild President Gabriel Carteris says Disney should be ashamed. Does this mean Disney is run by a small vocal minority of toxic execs? Quickly, panel, what do you think? I think yes, but there you go.
I don't think she's being discriminated against because Disney's the one pushing the damn woke agenda. that would be stupid for them to discriminate against a female when they want everything owned by females in their movies.
Yeah,
just-
the women have turned against them, though. That's the point, I think.
They actually hate women. That's the thing. They are misogynist and misandrist.
I think it's a big woke club, and they're so used to using that argument that as soon as anything goes wrong for them, that's the first thing they jump on.
Yeah.
Maybe. So do you think that they are basically not practicing what they preach, or do as I say and not as I do?
Boom, she gets it. Ka-ching, double standards all day long.
Share.
That just doesn't make sense to me that they would be that stupid, but then again, they could very well be. So yeah, you could be right.
The international exchange rate.
It's show business, not show friends on 31 minutes.
Well, but here's the problem. How stupid do you have to be that you've been in a country in a company that's been alive for so long and been around for so long that you've had so much publicity that something like this would blow up in your face? You'd either have to be stupid or not care. I don't know.
Probably both.
We can tell you, are they well-meaning idiots or evil geniuses? We don't even know.
You see the mask slipping when it comes to money with Disney?
Yeah.
That exterior of I'm trying to be caring and we do this and we're interested in
we know better
all these agendas and stuff.
We're doing
the
this
minute it hits them in the pocket, complete and utter 180.
Yeah,
we've been watching them not pay Ellen Dean Foster since they bought out Lucasfilm, so we know they're evil, selfish little fucks. Don't give a shit about anything apart from themselves and the money that they can stuff up their noses.
Pretty much.
They should be destroyed, broken up and destroyed.
My dad and I were talking about Disney and how they destroyed Star Wars over pizza today. And he was like, what did you expect? It's Disney. They've sucked for years.
They destroyed Star Wars over pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, what do you expect? They've been messing stuff for years. He's like, are you really surprised? I'm like, yeah, but they had some good stuff like Nightmare Before Christmas and all the other Disney classics. And Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland was pretty awesome. And Pirates of the Caribbean, some were good, some were not. But, and then they just like turned to the dark side, so to speak. And I'm like, what the hell happened to all the entertainment we used to like?
That's a good question. Does the chat know what happened to the good entertainment we used to watch on?
Where is it? Where's it gone? Come on, chat. Let us know. MC, Bishop Moore. Come on, Stephen.
I think the global financial crisis had a lot to do with that. I don't think studios are willing to take the chance anymore, especially after that. And then we're going to have the same situation again because of the virus. So I think we're in for this same kind of regurgitation, recycling for quite a while.
Yeah.
When is enough enough? I mean, seriously.
You're asking me.
Yeah. I mean,
Cruel Birab in the chat. Disney ruined Star Wars. Trust me, they are stupid.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. I mean, I not only think that, but I think they're assholes. I think that's why they ruined Star Wars. But I mean, that's just me.
I'm sure somebody at Disney on some level regrets what they've done.
Oh yeah, but they it's like the Doctor Who situation now. They know they're too far in. They can't admit they're at fault, so they're just going to dull down instead. Just going to keep ruining it.
I think there's a whole lot of people at Lucasfilm that just don't care, that see this as a vehicle for their agenda, and as long as that's pushed.
Yeah,
and they've got so many people watching their stuff, they just don't care.
Yeah, they just recruit these women, and probably guys as well. They just go in there and see Star Wars and think, "Oh, this is a great way to get my foot up the ladder in, the corporate entertainment business," and go in, write some feminist agenda bullshit no one likes, and then leave Star Wars behind and think, "Well, I never cared for it anyway," and then just move on to their next project, like Rian Johnson did.
Yeah,
absolutely, Matt. Well said.
Well said, Matthew.
It's Kathleen Kennedy, who's the woke one, obviously thinking, "Oh, we need these people in here to write more stories and to have more representation." So she's the one that's allowing it all, and therefore the franchise, no one's got any love for it apart from the people that were there before she moved in.
Yeah, but you have to wonder why Iger allowed her to do so, right? I mean,
I'm not sure he knew what she was doing. He probably just believed her because George put her in charge. So he thought, well, he must know what he's doing, and he let her do whatever she's going to do.
Just like get on with it,
Yeah, and by the time she trashed it, it was kind of too late, And now because she's a whammon, they have to say, oh, no, we look forward to working with Kathleen for many years.
She's so stunning and brave.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, you
I
just-
wonder if
They
George
all are.
Lucas ran into her again, if he would like punch her in the face. You think he would do it? I would like to see him do it anyway.
Straighten the balls. Take that, Kathy. Crack.
Oh yeah, punch her in the Adam's apple.
Yes, yes, I want to see this. Somebody film it. No.
By the way, we do not condone punching anybody in the Adam's apple on this
In
channel.
any area of anatomy, man or woman,
Okay.
or in between.
So
I'm okay
we're all
with it if they
agreed.
piss me off.
Yeah, so we're all agreed that the BBC, Disney, and most other studios are just we don't know what planet they're on, basically.
I'm not even sure what
Their
planet
own
it was.
utopia. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Mhm.
But as with most things, there are always exceptions to the rule. This week, this little tweet dropped from Idris Elba. He's been lined up to play Knuckles in Sonic the Movie 2. Yeah. Matthew, do you know the story behind Sonic the film? You know, the one that's just been recently out a couple of years
I
ago?
haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a lot of films for a long time, but I will get around to watching it originally because I heard there was no wokeness in it, so that's a big point, big
Well,
plus.
did you hear how they changed Sonic when they got the
Yes.
feedback
Yeah.
from the fans that
Yeah.
Sonic
That's the
was
main
just
reason I
awful?
want to see it. Yeah, that's the main reason.
Yeah.
I was just applauding that all over. I thought, well, in that case, if they're gonna listen to fans and put that much effort into it, then yeah, of course I'll support it. But I just never got the chance to actually get around to watch it. Ironically,
Yeah, same here. I really want to see it still, and I still haven't seen it. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to give respect to the fans. I have to watch it. I have to watch it.
I do think this is. I do think this casting. I don't know. It makes me smell a little bit of wokeness here in the casting. We've got to have more diversity. We've got to get a black guy in. It's like, well, no. Why isn't he red with big white gloves on and
Nice.
big red locks?
Well, it shows like his arm is red, and it shows the white glove. Now they could just be teasing us, but I don't know. Idris Elba is a hard one to read, but I don't see him like
Great
really
actor.
being big on the whole woke agenda. But I don't know.
He might work. He might work really well for the role. I don't know, but I mean, I can't remember what Knuckles' voice was like in the cartoon or the games or anything. So I don't know if he's right for the role or not.
Yeti Cast says Idris Elba is voicing Knuckles in Sonic Movie 2. I honestly can't wait for this movie, especially because Sega and their movie studio actively listened to fans. And last year, with all this madness that was going on, I managed to see about 4 movies at the cinema. And I think the last one, before all the lockdowns started happening, was Sonic. And it was genuinely good. And because the studio and the director listened to fans, people supported the film. And it made money because people went to see it. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I probably would have gone to see it anyway. But Jim Carrey as Robotnik looked, I think was it Robotnik?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking looked amazing.
That was one thing that sold me on the trailer. Actually, I just thought this is Jim Carrey being the Jim Carrey we all fell in love with.
Yeah, it was all Jim
on a
Carrey,
living color. Yeah.
So I'll just say to everybody, if you haven't seen Sonic, check it out. It's actually a decent movie.
We'll watch
it. I think
same.
Pretty much straight away, number 2 was greenlit purely because of the response from people actively going to see it. So,
well, this is what happens when you respect the fans. They will spend money on your product.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
So I don't understand why it's there for other studios to see in plain daylight on 40 minutes that if you listen to the customers, they will come. But anyway.
Yeah.
What do I know? What do any of us know?
Well, I mean, look at what happened with the Snyder Cut. How many people subscribed to HBO Max just to see the Snyder Cut?
Did you subscribe?
I sure did, and I love my HBO Max. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the Snyder Cut. 4 hours of so much better of a movie, better effects, a better Steppenwolf. It was just all better. This is what happens when you listen to the fans and you give a real shot to something that it can be authentically good.
Good.
And yeah, and you know, it just goes to show you with these two instances, like seriously, we will, you know, we vote with our wallet. If you give us something that we want and we like and respect, you know, the canon, we're going to spend money on it. If not, we're not going to do it. But evidently they're not listening or they don't care.
Not listening. They're just going, la, 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 la. We don't want your money. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
We do not want
care.
money.
Stay poor.
Yeah.
We hate our
Exactly.
shareholders. La, 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 la.
And I don't understand that because, like, this is good for business. This is good for being financially set and, you know, job security. Why don't you care about your job if you want to keep it? You want to keep making money? This is how you do it.
Maybe a
And
lot
it's
of the people in the industry are just using it as a stepping stone to get where they want to be. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was interesting to hear a lot of the shills. I say shills, possibly not shills, but they were of that ilk.
You would know, yes.
You know, going off their head when it was announced that they'd listened to the fans and were going to change it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, no, what are they doing? Entitled fanboys and all that nonsense, the usual stuff that's rolled out.
Yeah.
Stephen
Glad they
Moray. Brian, do you want to read this from my landlord?
Stephen Amori in the chat says, I'm deeply offended by the image of a fist. A white fist. A white fist with sharp points. Well, I would be if I was effing mental and I had such a comfortable life with no problems that I had to find offense.
Nice.
Well
Good
done,
one.
Stephen.
Noise.
So I will say, genuinely, I'm looking forward to number 2 of these. So.
Should have gone before the start of this.
I was gonna say, you should have gone to
Yes,
the bathroom.
when Brian, when you do your recommendation, I'm just going to nip one off. Yep.
Is the turtle's head showing, touching cloth, etc.?
Nice.
Always, mate. Always.
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 Oh my
It keeps me focused.
It's a constant cycle.
It's all that vegan stuff you eat, all that vegan non-cheese you have.
That's called a cleanse, man. No.
I
my
would just say
goodness.
to everybody who's watching this in repeat or watching this live, vegan cheese is amazing. But there you go. Okay,
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's either vegan or cheese. Next, you'll be telling me water's wet. Moving on.
Cheese
Depending
substitute. Can we
which
agree on
state
cheese
it's
substitute?
Do you believe in cheeses? Oh, it's Handsome Superman. Let's talk about him. It's Super Quasimodo Man. Quick, directly. He can jump over a plastic surgery in a single bound.
This was back this week. Thank Fook. We've missed this, haven't we, Brian?
Yes, 3 weeks off. 2 weeks, 2 episodes missed. 2 weeks.
What did you think to this week's episode?
I had a couple of small problems with this week's episode, although I did enjoy it overall. It was very
Problems
nice
were?
to see. I'll tell you on. It was very nice to see John Henry Irons. Spoiler alert:
Yes.
saving Lois after that kind of completes his story arc nicely. I thought
That was excellent, yes.
yeah, he proper twatted her, didn't he?
Boom! Have that. I don't care if you're a female. Douche, have it.
There's your wokeness out the window there. Take that, love.
Yeah. Take that hammer in the head. Yeah.
I wasn't entirely convinced by the Superman's admission defeat, over losing Jonathan. But again, that could be the kind of rushed pacing that's kind of plagued some of the initial,
Well,
some of the
shock
final
does
scenes.
funny things, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, he comes back in saying, I've exhausted all my resources. I can't find him. You think, it's not even tea time. Get back out, you fucking Kryptonian twat, and go look again. Do you know? But that's still about the only thing, and I think it was just down to the pacing. I'm hoping we don't lose Morgan Edge in the finale, because I think he's been such a good character in it. I'd like to see him maybe disappear for a bit and come back and still be a threat.
Yeah. What's the name of the Adam?
You're asking me this every single time. Adam Rayner.
Yeah, Adam Rayner.
Well, you think you'd have an answer by now?
I'm old.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm old. Red Cannon. Hail, Red Cannon. Red Cannon says, "Is it really good? I have heard good things, but after seeing him in Supergirl, he is only beta man to me. Not Cavill. No Cavill, not even close."
Beta man, that's hilarious.
I would say put Supergirl straight out of your head and think of this as a completely separate entity, because it's really good and there's not the same humiliation they experienced on the other show. Ignore it.
I will say to Red Cannon, and Brian will agree with me, this is at the moment the best program people are not watching that's on TV. Would you agree with that, Brian?
Yes, I saw on Twitter a few people suggesting that it should move to a bigger channel. I don't really want that to happen. I think if that does happen, it'll go straight down the toilet.
Yeah, you're right.
In fact, I hope they don't change anything too much leading into the second season,
which starts filming in a couple of weeks.
Yep. It would be a horrible, terrible thing if they were going to change it all about and turn it into another Superman bad thing.
Yeah, I think the only problem this series has had is the fact that it's just been very sporadic with when it's on, because obviously I would imagine the Coof had something to do with filming. So effectively it's just been episodes, here and there, which is not good for building up a audience base, is it?
No, I'm bad enough when I have to watch things on a weekly basis. I kind of lose interest midweek. Yeah. So I'd like to have watched the whole thing entirely as I want to judge it. I don't know if that would have made the pacing better or worse. I think it might have been.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe 3 weeks off, it makes you more receptive to it when it comes on. I don't know.
Because you missed it so much?
Yes, yeah. So maybe it doesn't give you the chance to get bored. It can work both ways. It can work both ways, but
familiarity breeds contempt.
Yeah. Again, another great episode.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It's the last episode next week, isn't it, Brian? So it's all going to go down.
The only thing I think might have been difficult if it had just been released in one go is how much would Reni have had to be able to tolerate how ugly he is? Could she have made it past episode 3?
I don't know.
But you've needed the break in between.
Much ugliness.
I wish I was as ugly as Tyler Hecklin, I'll tell you that.
Me too.
Same here.
Of ugliness we can all aspire to.
Dalek 451. Hail Dalek 451. I still haven't watched Superman and Lois, just been too busy to watch it. Well, one more episode and then you can binge watch it at your convenience, my friend. So as we say every week, great program. I really hope they don't screw season 2 up, Brian.
Yeah. I think you and I are going to be like Khal Drogo after he's resurrected, sitting staring into space.
Yeah.
Somewhere else waiting for season 2 to start.
All cross-eyed and lost. Yeah.
If this show gets popular, though, you know what's going to happen.
I think it is popular.
Well, if
it's going to get woke to fuck.
There's too many white faces. We'll have to change that.
If it goes to a bigger network, because it gets so popular, that show will be ruined, and it will become a woke mess of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Please, no. Please.
I'm sure the producers and the execs know why it's actually working and being well received. So, season 2, fingers crossed. So, genuinely looking forward to the last episode next week. So, see what happens on that. So, okay. This dropped this week.
Hooray!
Everybody's
Moving
favorite
on,
cartoon.
moving on.
Yeah.
Is there any time travel or parallel universes?
No,
Oh, no, I'm not interested.
I take
Oh,
it I'm the only one who's seen it.
Mr. Brown, I hate to interrupt. Miss Citizen 333 is asking, how does this Superman series measure up to Lois and Clark, the Dean Cain version?
It's darker for a start, isn't it? A lot more gritty.
Do you know what? To me, right? The characters are older characters, aren't they, Brian?
Yeah.
So it's almost like Lois and Clark back in day, say 20 years ago, was the younger versions of this.
Right.
Would you kind of agree? So on the kind of timeline, it feels quite natural because of the time difference. So
The family element.
yeah,
obviously a lot
because it's
deeper
almost
in
like
this.
because it's almost like if Lois and Clark had children 15, 16 years ago,
Yep.
they'd be grown up now. So it's almost
Gives it
like
an extra layer.
yeah. So it's almost like by accident, the kind of timeline, if you know what I mean, feels okay. But obviously, Lois and Clark was very of its time. But then again, in 20 years' time, if we look back at, Superman and Lois, we'll probably say that's a product of its time. But
In 20 years' time, we'll be going,
Yeah.
remember when we had electricity and cars,
and the wheel,
civilization?
I would say though, Citizen 333 definitely worth a watch. Yeah. Okay, so Red Cannon.
No.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Matt, do you want to read that out?
I love Star Trek. Lower Decks makes me red.
Because it's not canon. Red
And
canon.
then,
Star Trek not canon.
yes, very good. And then Red Cannon goes, red is red as in very bad rage.
I can imagine
Glad
it
he
would,
clarified that. I thought he was going to say he was turned communist.
Come on.
And then Bijot says lower decks. See, Bijot gets it. Moving on.
Gail Bridget.
Good one, Bishop.
Bishop nailed it.
I take it I'm the only one who's seen it then.
Yes. The
Yeah.
only person on the planet.
Okay.
Not interested in it, man.
No.
Okay, well,
What's your verdict on it?
there were two moments where I two moments where I tittered.
Chitty ye not.
As I said last season, this would be very, very good if you took out Mariner. You know, this self-obsessed, doesn't
Absorbed?
take order. Yep, doesn't take orders. Bestest ever. Supposed to be an empowered woman, yes, Matthew.
From what I can make out, yeah.
as we've
a Mary Sue type character.
Yeah, as we've said on
Mhm.
previous streams, all these empowered women now in our entertainment are just fucking horrible.
Mhm.
Anyway, moving on. As I said, there was two moments where I tittered. Rest
Does
of
it
it's
have
like,
any, other than the moments of tittering, does it have any redeeming qualities for you? Is there anything that would make you continue to watch it?
Not the animation, that's for sure. That bloody CalArt style is just, oh god, it's
Awful.
disgusting. Hate
Yeah.
it. hate
It's
it.
awful.
I don't know who they think they're supposed to be appealing to, because that's not going to appeal to kids. If I was 10 years old, I'd spit at that. That's just awful. As an adult, it just looks like it's for 7-year-olds. So, I mean, who the hell do they think they're appealing to?
Themselves.
Yeah.
People that are happy with 2 titters.
I mean,
this is set in the next gen timeline after Star Trek Nemesis. There's lots of member berries. The spaceships look good. Some of the, agreed, the characters look a bit, but the rest of it is pretty good. It's just this kind of. It's the cartoon equivalent of Michael Burnham, and it's just shite.
Yeah, they're just trying to rip off Rick and Morty, but
Rick and Morty, yeah,
the Star Trek label on it. That ship design is fucking awful. I hate it.
yeah, Rick and Morty works because of the storylines, not because of the animation, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and this doesn't even have that. So what are they doing?
Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick.
Moving on.
I've actually seen
Anybody seen it? Or was it
yes,
just me?
Yes, I have.
It's just you and Cockney. It sounds like.
I actually saw it. Yes, I did.
What?
I know. I even made an anti-British joke while watching. I was like, "Damn, they even fixed her teeth."
Yeah.
And then I got offended with myself. And then I argued with myself. And then I cancelled myself.
So, what did you think, Cockney?
Good animation. Good.
Agreed.
Yeah, good drawing style. Nice. So, I mean, I haven't seen the cartoon for a while, so I don't know what the average is out there. But certainly compared to Lower Deck, yeah. So, yeah, good drawing style, good animation, good voice acting, story. Yeah, you're not going to get much of a story in 25 minutes, are you?
No.
And at the risk of, well, I'll just briefly dance around one of my usual tedious tangents. But even as a 13-year-old boy, I left alone when I was into the Marvel comics. I left alone the what ifs because I thought, hang on a minute, this is a universe of wacky trans-dimensional superheroes all running around in their pants, and now there's a series of extra wacky stories that take place in yet another closed off universe and then disappears when the issue is over. It's a hypothetical universe as opposed to a standard Marvel parallel universe. You know, my ears are already bleeding. You see what I'm saying? These stories didn't happen, even in the context of Marvel fiction. They never happened.
Yeah, because can I ask the point of this? Because that's what I heard, is that this is basically what if is just what if. It's not canon. It didn't happen. It's just like, this could have happened. That would have been fun, right?
Yeah, you're imagining the whole thing. What is the point? Yes. So that's exactly, what is the point? I agree. There is none. But it was good. But just the what if thing. Always had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Similar to Star Wars Infinites, isn't it?
Yes. It's like, if it's fiction in the context of a fiction, I mean, I'm going deep into what is fiction at the moment. No one else is buying it. Anyway, I'll tell you why, Cockney, because no one else fucking cares. No, I'll tell you what, though. Yeah, it's fiction in the context of a fiction. It just makes no sense. It's like, how many layers of disbelief can I suspend? I'm already, following people, time traveling, moving around the world, running around in their pants, as mentioned. Yeah, so the what if aspect is the only thing I'm not into. But beyond that, good. A+.
MC in the chats, I enjoyed What If. It's actually not that bad. Agreed. The action is good, animation good. Peggy Carter remained true to her live action version. She just looks like a Russian shot putter. Which
pretty much.
Which ain't a bad thing necessarily, but there you go.
If you like the type.
Reni has gone critical
mass.
Boom.
What if I watched this, and I will agree. I don't think it was all that bad. Obviously, they were doing the kind of modern thing of deconstructing everything. This time they were deconstructing Captain America, but because it's Peggy Carter, and because of what she kind of earned in the 1 hour on the kind of live versions, I didn't have a problem with this because it felt kind of earned woke, I suppose. I don't know. So I kind of enjoyed it. I know that Nerdrotic hated it. Because he was just saying they were deconstructing this, kicking men in the balls, which is right.
There's a bit of that, but then again, it was better in the 1940s than it would do in the 2020s. So in that sense, people generally, I wasn't there, apparently were a bit more sexist. Women had their place. They weren't really taking an active role in the field, in the army. So in that sense, it worked, I thought.
So what's she called in this?
Peggy Carter.
Is she not called Captain Britain or something? Because there is a Captain Britain character.
Captain Russia. I think that's
I think she's just called Captain Carter, isn't she? Because I think they know they can't use Captain Britain because that's a completely separate character that's not a super soldier. And there's also the fact that she's not wearing a mask or helmet like Captain America, but she's still got the shield. So it's all over the place. There's a really weird, I think it's really strange how her super soldier costume doesn't show her femininity at all. It's just, she's just like solid shapes. There's no curvature to her or anything. So there's been so many people saying that it's just a woman's head on a bloke's body. And it really does kind of look like that from the promo shots. I haven't watched it, but that's what it looks like.
I've not got a problem with that. It just, if they pumped her full of this super serum and sent her down the gym, she'd look like that. So
yeah, but she'd also still look a bit feminine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just put away her femininity. You can't sort of see the things that make her a typical female super character like we've had in the past, like we used to have in the 80s and 90s in the comics, in Marvel comics, that they always accentuated the female form. So you could tell they had breasts, you could tell they had hips, you could tell the waist narrowed, all that kind of stuff. And you might be able to say, oh, it's stereotypical, it's cliche, but this is what Marvel did. This is the kind of the Marvel style, and they've stripped all that out, and they've just put this kind of homogenous shape with a woman's head on it in its place, and it just doesn't look like a typical Marvel superhero female character. It's just there's no shape to her at all. It looks like a guy's chest, you know. I mean, what's wrong with showing breasts? What's wrong with that?
Yay!
It's kind of what makes a woman, isn't it?
It's
all
the roids.
Oh my
Marvel always had a very specific way of drawing their both male and female characters, even down to the actual proportions. It was hero proportions.
Yeah, I've got How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, and
that's the very book. The very book I was thinking about.
Yeah, and they've got from over decades, all the artists stuck to that basic template for constructing their characters. You know, obviously they modernized things, but they always made sure you could define between a man and a woman, and they were always kind of like the idealized version of a man or woman as well. And it's like they want to purposely take that away now and just take femininity out of things and make women men.
And I don't get that, because as a woman, you don't have to represent me as a man, first of all. But secondly, when I was a little girl growing up, I would not have wanted to grow into what looks like a female bodybuilder with no boobs and no hips.
Like,
I would have wanted to look like a woman.
It's like the Barbie situation, isn't it? It's like, would Barbie be as popular as she is if she was just like a fat, short, dumpy, black-haired, freckled girl, like in that what is it called, Starfire's daughter or whatever it is? I'm not Starfire.
That's horrible.
Would Barbie be anywhere near as popular in the legend that character has become over 60, 70 years?
You from Mattel, B12 Barbie.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't have wanted to play with that. It's like, I don't want a fat, ugly doll.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have wanted that. And like, even with like the old school, now not the new one, but the old school She-Hulk. She-Hulk had boobs. She had curves.
Exactly.
She still worked out. She was still strong, but she had curves. She was a woman. Yeah.
They weren't afraid to show her femininity and show her using her femininity as well. But you're not, it's like you're not allowed. Yeah, you're not allowed to have these, I suppose they call them gender norms or heteronormative style. You know, it's like these bullshit buzzwords now. It's like, just let women be women and men be men. What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah,
Well
I'll be
said.
honest with you. I do not aspire to have like an inverted V look to me. I don't I don't want to look boxy. I don't aspire to look masculine. That's just not my thing.
Mhm.
I don't understand that. And Marvel's strongest female character, in my opinion, was Dark Phoenix. She was very feminine looking to me too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're getting this crap that we aspire to look like men, because I don't.
It's
I
all a
don't
push
ever
to
want to look like
make.
men.
Yeah, it's all a push to make the women physically strong like men. They seem to have some kind of idea in their heads that women are weak without being made to be like men. So it's like the physical strength thing is the most important thing. So all the other attributes are useless in the shadow of physical strength. So physical strength, everyone's got to be super physical strong, and all the women have got to be stronger than the men. So physical strength is the utmost appealing feature of a superhero. So if you can't have physical strength, then you're useless and you're worthless. So forget psionic powers, forget mutant powers where you can control the weather or anything like that. No, none of that matters. You've got to have massive muscles and be super strong, stronger than the men. That's what they're driving at, and it's just so disingenuous and so antithetical to how great their characters are.
Exactly. It's kind of like the whole female what is it? Female equality versus female superiority.
Exactly. Yes.
We don't have to be superior.
Denying the things that make women great,
Yes, exactly.
We used to have Supergirl, Rogue, Storm, and now it's just the fat slags.
Pretty much. Trailblazer, how's she doing in that New Warriors comic? Just saying.
Yep.
She's a popular one, isn't she?
You think of these characters compared to, I think Olenna Tyrell and Cersei from Game of Thrones, both of them.
Yeah.
Were both very feminine.
Yeah.
They were both matriarchs and very strong. But these newer characters, they can't seem to write it. They have to be. It's almost like an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Do you know? And it's sexist in its own way, both against men and women.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It really is.
Strange times we're living in. Strange folk.
Very.
Citizen.
It's all taking place in pop culture as well. It's like we're all being. They're trying to. Someone somewhere is trying to gaslight everybody into believing this shit. That's why they're attacking pop culture with all this stuff, because they know that people lap this stuff up. They go for what's popular. They go for the superhero movies. They go for Star Wars. They go for the top tier IPs because they know that's the biggest audience that they're going to get with their soapbox. So they appropriate these IPs and push this agenda and try to hide it just enough and try to bait and switch idea as well. So get people on board with nostalgia. You think you're going to get your character on screen just as you want, like He-Man, and then first or second episode, boom, it's all gone. It's all about the whamming. It's all about the strength over the, all about strong women, all about women kicking men's asses, etc. And they're trying to push this message, and it's becoming so obvious now in every IP that's out there. It's like they're trying to reverse everything and trying to pervert everything and trying to destroy everyone's ideas of what makes a man and what makes a woman a woman. And something is going on. They're trying to brainwash the populace across the planet into thinking this shit. I don't know why, but it's becoming in everything now. And you can't tell me that it's not obvious because I'm seeing it everywhere. And I'm not imagining it.
Yeah, it's getting shoved down your
the
throat.
schools are doing it. Yeah, they're aiming it at the young people, and the young people are so.
It's in adverts as well. It's
but
all over.
I wouldn't say daft, just inexperienced with life to realise. But anyway, it's not. You agreed, Matthew. It's not good. Citizen 333 in the chat. Uma Thurman as Beatrix in Kill Bill was believable because her story was well written.
It was.
I just rewatched Kill Bill. Fully agreed.
Yeah, and then Citizen says again, that's the problem with woke shit. The characters don't earn it. Exactly. As I said, going back to Peggy Carter, kind of earned, so I didn't have a problem with it. And then he says Ray, for example. So yeah.
Yeah.
Ray!
Brian, do you want to read this from my landlord?
Stephen Amore in the chat says, Viz were visionaries in portraying women in comics 30 years ahead of their time. 30 years of being called misogynists. Literally gone through the looking glass.
Viz is a comic in Britain. Is Viz still going?
It is, yeah.
It is. I've got the annual for last year.
It still has its moments as well. It really does.
Yeah.
Fat Slag still going.
You think it is?
I actually bet the Fat Slags on holiday. Anyway, it's another. Moving on. Story for
That's
another.
another. That's
One
for
for the
another
drunk
stream,
stream.
mate.
It was joking on though, so it's worth it. Anyway.
So moving on from what
No
if,
point joking on it.
considering what we've had off Marvel and Disney recently, I kind of think this is the best thing they've done. It's not brilliant, but
it's not shite.
yeah. And considering it's a cartoon as opposed to the live action stuff.
It's the Blandalorian of Marvel. It's all right. It'll do. It's better than nothing.
I will say though, the sequence where the German bombers are going over the landscape, and she's attacking the German bombers and planes. I thought that was really, really good for the animation. It just looked incredible. So there you go.
Great animation.
Wait, Brian.
Whee!
Woohoo!
There he is.
Who's that guy?
That's Mr. Young.
Where's Mega Geek when you need him to go for a piss? So, Brian, what do you recommend?
Where's my script? Where's my fags? Where's my script? Cigarettes. That's cigarettes for all of you.
Where's me
Now, fags.
Where's me smokes? Right, now then. This week on Movies Reni Will Never Watch, we have one of my favourite gangster films.
Oh, so it's not a Western.
No, it's not a Western. I've chosen it because it didn't do particularly well at the box office and has sadly been largely forgotten about. This is due, at least in part, to it being superseded by a more recent production. It was the basis for a 2016 US TV show of the same name, and while it was itself inspired by true life events, it is still very much its own beast. It stars young Owen Lars and Orson Krennic. That's Joel Edgerton and Ben Mendelsohn for the non-Star Wars literate among us.
Okay.
Ooh.
I am, of course, talking about the Australian crime drama Animal Kingdom from 2010. New graphic. Hey. Through the experiences of 17-year-old Joshua Cody, we are introduced to the gritty, nefarious world of a Melbourne crime family already at war with rivals and a corrupt police force. Now, where some movies focus on the benefits of power and wealth afforded by organised crime, Animal Kingdom gives us a far more realistic, mundane, and therefore ultimately terrifying view of this lifestyle. Co-star Jackie Weaver, who plays the family's tyrannical matriarch, was nominated for a Golden Globe and an Academy Award for her performance.
Wow.
It's written by David Michôd, who went on to make 2017's War Machine with Brad Pitt. At the box office, it grossed an insulting $7.5 million against a budget of $5 million. But if you like crime thrillers, then Animal Kingdom is simply unmissable. It's available anywhere except Amazon Prime because they refused to promote them
Jeff, send us
after
some
he mucked up
money.
my delivery last week.
Oh, yeah. Amazon could do better.
I paused there after the graphic. I was waiting for Mega Geek to give me his opinion on it.
Well, he's not here.
He's not here.
He's not here.
Oh, we miss our Mega Geek.
Anybody in the panel seen this film?
I've never even heard of it.
No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
I'm intrigued.
I've seen it, but I've never heard of it.
It might be the TV show you've seen. I haven't. I deliberately avoided the TV show because I didn't want to spoil my memory of this. But yep, brilliant. Moving on.
So we will need to check that out then. So that's Animal Kingdom. MC's obviously not seen it. I remember the trailer for it.
It's a
What
hidden
year
gem.
again? Yeah, what year again? 2000
2010.
Right, okay.
Just before the weakness took hold of it.
Okay, so yeah, where is Mega Geek? Okay, so let's move on.
Oh.
The Thing. Shall I do the blurb?
Yeah, go on.
Do it.
Okay, so The Thing, 1982, USA. Director John Carpenter. Writers Bill Lancaster, screenplay, and John W. Campbell, story. Produced by Stuart Cohen, David Forster, Larry Franco, Wilbur Stark, Lawrence Turman. Music by Ennio Morricone.
Excellent.
Cinematography by Dean Cundy, who we said on a few previous streams did Back to the Future. Special creature effects, and for me, this guy was the star, the real star of The Thing, Rob Boutine. Starring Kurt Russell as MacReady, Wilford Brimley as Dr. Blair, Donald Moffat, Gary, Keith David Childs, Richard Dysart, who recently died, Dr. Copper, Peter Maloney as Bennings, David Clennon Palmer, T.K. Carter as Knowles. Budget $15 million, and the box office worldwide take was a very disappointing $19,632,053. This was released the same weekend in the US as. Any guesses? Cockney, do you want to have a guess?
Does it begin with B and end with Blade Runner?
Could be. So released the same weekend as Blade Runner, which also tanked, and Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which did okay. On my notes, where I wrote Ennio Morricone, when I was watching the film today, I noticed the Jaws motif. You know, the it was in the film. Subtle, but it was there. Because as soon as I heard it, I thought, that's Jaws. So... So there you go. Very, very gory film, isn't it, Reni?
Yes, it is.
How far did you make it into it?
I want to say maybe 45 minutes into it. I want to say something was happening to the dog, and I'm just like, okay, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. I can't do it. I can't do it.
This
might have made it.
This was my first viewing of it as well. I'm embarrassed to say, and that was the moment I went, oh, I think I'm going to turn this off myself. And I don't tend to mind gore, but for some reason that just kind of turned my stomach.
Yeah.
The only reason I kept going was, well, two reasons. One, because I'm coming on here.
Yeah.
And the other, because I'd rented it from Jeff. So I thought, £3.49, I need to get my money's worth at him.
Yeah. I found a site to pirate it off of, so... But I'm just like, can't do it. Oh, it was so bad. And I try so hard, but I can't do gore. And then, like, you know, even though I'm not a big into dogs, like when I see animals getting harmed, it's really hard for me to watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the dog scene is particularly tough, isn't it?
Yes.
Still, even though you know that most of them are, you know, not real.
Yeah.
It's still tough to watch it.
Especially if you're just about to tuck into a sausage dinner. I'll never get over that. The timing was unbelievable.
Tuck in.
It was so graphic as well, that scene.
Yeah.
You don't tend to see animals being hurt
Mutilated.
so badly in these kind of things. I know it's not,
Yeah.
not real, obviously, but it's still kind of.
It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah. The
I said,
dogs.
well, remember, MC, you've got to be fucking kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. It was shot very well, that scene. And the dog chewing the cage trying to get out, it just adds the layer of this is bad. Because that always gets me when the dog is trying to get out and you can hear all the dog noises. And
that's usually the kind of trope to be used in a horror film, where it'd be a human doing it, trying to get away. For some reason, it being the animals. I think we're so used to seeing humans being done in. When it's an animal, it's
cringe. Yeah.
Wookie Fever, blah, 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 1969 says this movie is a trip. Agreed. Then MC goes, it's amazing. The thing blew my mind with the FX and the out of this world ideas. It's fantastic. I've never been the same since I saw that and Alien. Yeah, as I said, Rob Boutine and his imagination, that guy was the star of the thing. And I think he worked 12 months solid, 7 days a week, 18, 20 hours a day. And I think he practically, at the end of it, I'm sure he had a nervous breakdown at the end of it.
No wonder.
This is back when actors actually earned their keep, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Boutine was the special effects guy.
Mm-hmm.
He did RoboCop, Total Recall, and you could see on the effects in the film some of the ideas, what you would see, say, in Total Recall. So the guy was a genius. I just think he was years ahead of the curve. And as I said, he was the real star. To me, it felt like a coming together of lots of different people on the top of their game at the moment, at that time. I don't know. It's just so good. Because I think the first time I saw it was when I was a teenager on ITV in the UK.
Mm-hmm. I might have seen it that same night as well. I think I might have been like 11 or something.
And I don't know about you, Matt. When I saw it was like, fuck, what is going on?
Yeah.
Was it censored at all on ITV?
No, exactly what you saw, mate.
Yeah, it was on about like 10 at night or something, maybe 11.
Yeah, half 10 after the news. Yeah. Midweek or something. And it's like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Because you at the beginning, you've got the spacecraft that I'll go through some of the stills. So you just think it's going to be just like a normal kind of sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm.
So get me graphics.
In between the thing, E.T. and Starman, were we just getting a lot of aliens visiting Earth around 1982? What the fuck was going on?
We were, yeah.
Like Billy Circus down there.
Bearing in mind, this was out at the same time as E.T.
See? Not as friendly, eh?
Yeah, no doubt.
We all know that E.T. was very, very popular, wasn't it?
That's the reason why this film, one of the reasons, wasn't it, why this film wasn't so popular, is because everyone was kind of, wanted to think of aliens as cuddly, friendly aliens, and this was totally the opposite to that.
It's bad timing.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
I wonder, when I was watching this scene, straight off the bat, it tells you that the story, if you didn't know the blurb, the story tells you that it's an alien invader. I wonder if it would have been, or how it would have been received. Would it have been slightly better for the audience if they hadn't known that it was an alien? They hadn't realised what was going on, and then it was slowly revealed.
Yeah, probably.
I wonder.
Keep it mysterious. Absolutely. Be like, what's this all about? I got to go see this. It looks intriguing. Yeah.
But they kind of did go full on, didn't they, straight away?
It was, yeah. It was, yeah. It was kind of straight in your face, wasn't it?
It's funny. I think back to the film World's End with Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And I watched that film. I'd watched the two previous ones to death. I watched them 1,000 times each. But for some reason, I managed to miss that one completely. So it was on Sky Movies or something one night. I'm watching it through, not knowing that it's going to be an alien invasion film.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
And then
know?
at one point, he tears someone's arm off and starts battering over him. What the fuck? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And then the film just goes absolutely batshit after that. And I'm glad that I didn't know what it was about. I just wonder if that might have been slightly better if it'd been a bit more mysterious.
That's what was so
Yeah,
good for me about sorry, Reni,
No
From
worries.
Dusk Till Dawn, because I thought it was just going to be like a gangster or serial killer movie, and then suddenly it turns into this vampire
Morphed
movie.
into something else, yeah.
Yeah, I was just,
Oh,
"Whoa,
yeah.
man, this is awesome. I love films that surprise me like that. Like Phantoms with Ben Affleck in it did that for me as well. And that's a real rarity when you get that, when you've got no spoilers about the film whatsoever, and you're very, very lucky if you manage to come across a film that hasn't had some kind of description fed to you in some way, or you've seen the trailer and it's all been given away in the trailer, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want you to tell me the whole story before I watch it, because then it ruins the viewing experience. Yeah, I agree, Swapshop.
Reni, what is the deal with if a film is restricted R? What's the deal in the States? If a child is accompanied by an adult, they can go see it. Is that correct?
So basically, our rating is 17 and or not. Is it 17? I think you have to be 17 and older.
This was an R rating.
Yeah. So, if not, like you could go in with a parent, or a parent, could buy your ticket, and then when they're not looking, you sneak into the movies. I mean, not like I've ever done that as a kid, but that's basically it. But our ratings can be given even just for too many F-bombs, or too much gun violence, or whatever. It just really depends. But this is definitely what I would consider a hard R because of all the gore. I mean, it's so much.
Yeah. Could you imagine being, say, a 7-year-old little girl going in to watch this with the parents back in 1982? I think you'd be traumatized.
I think so. Well, I want to say that I actually saw it when I was. Yeah, I want to say I actually saw it when I was a kid, but like with it being in the background, my parents were just kind of watching it, and I was like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, this is creepy. I don't like it. No, no, no!" And I ran away. But if you're in a movie theater, you're stuck. So thank goodness for that, because I really would have been unhappy.
I would say even after 39 years, this is still next level gore.
Yeah, the visuals still incredible now.
Yeah. MC in the chat, Predator started in a similar way. It did. Bishop Moore, the CPR bit, yes.
Oh, that's one of the best bits. I love that bit.
MC, the CPR bit is amazing. They used a real amputee with a mask on. They did.
Holy crap!
Yeah, yeah. You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Well, it looks so good.
Let's have a look. Any other?
No CGI back in them days.
Yeah, practical effects, man.
Brian, do you want to read this? Trust Stephen to rein us in with context, bring it up to date.
Stephen, I can maintain an erection longer than you, Amore, in the chat says, an all-female thing would be a failure because the writers would never make the women have the necessary flaws and weaknesses.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Cannon. Dusk Till Dawn was very special. I will never forgive my GF for telling me the plot.
Oh, gutted.
Oh, that's not cool, because it was cool having that whole element of surprise, man.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah.
Then Peacat says, if anyone is interested in the backstory of the Morricone Carpenter score, Peacat's put a link there for you to have a peeps. Then Red Cannon. I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Even
Well,
by
like
today's
say, The Last
standards, I found
Jedi.
it to be quite extreme.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it was too. I'm just like, oh, geez, oh no, what? And yeah, I just couldn't do it.
You know,
Yeah, there was-
people kind of become desensitized over the years, don't they? Like kids today probably look back at a lot of films and go, oh, "That's not scary." It's like when I saw the Exorcist for the first time, and I heard all these people talking about it, and I went, "Geez, I better like brace myself for this one." And I sat down and watched it. I was kind of like, afterwards, I think, "What? That wasn't scary," you know. And I thought, but this film kind of it still maintains its impact no matter what. After all this time, it's still as shocking as it was back then.
Yeah, I was watching it today. I thought, oh,
Yeah,
you just think, oh,
yeah.
I think that just shows what a good film it is. Wookiee Fever, 1969. This movie was essentially a remake of a 1950s movie in name only. It was a completely different movie outside of it being a movie about a crashed spaceship and a rampaging alien killing everyone. I think it was called. It was the 50s version called The Thing.
It's
just The Thing,
1951, and it's The Thing from Another World.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's based on a story. I think the story is, even I know this, Who Goes There?
Yes, exactly. And this one basically takes the concept and blows it apart and turns it into something fantastic.
Brian, do you want to read Daddy's?
Stephen Amori in the chat says, I have the interview from back then with stills and romp next to some of the model figures. Gory images, which I loved. Says something about me.
Right.
And then Pecat says, not that I am recommended the inferior prequel, but watching the prequel and the CGI effects makes you appreciate the practical effects even more.
Yes, absolutely.
And the story with the 2010 version was the special effect guys for the prequel spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, doing full practical effects to the point where the models were made, it was all good to go, and studio interference said, nah, audiences are not going to want to watch that crap.
Terrible.
Let's make it CGI.
What an absolute...
And the rest is history. Because I think there are some videos on YouTube with these practical effects from that version, and they did look good.
Couple, yeah.
There's something visceral about the practical effects that CGI just, for my money, just can't seem to capture.
Yeah. It's like watching it today.
There's literally there's only two films that I've watched that have kind of given me that level of revulsion, and that's this one and The Fly. Because I don't mind gore films, but these two films have both given me the...
Yeah, it's the body horror, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah.
The Fly is disgusting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like one of those things that you can't stop watching, even though you're horribly disgusted by it.
Yeah. I just kind of watch it with like I have my fingers in front of my eyes, and I'm just kind of watching between the gaps. Yeah.
Brian, do you want to read the landlord's message?
Why do I keep getting Mr. Amori's?
I'm presenting.
Just lucky, I guess.
That's good. That's fair enough for me.
Yeah, okay. Just lucky.
Stephen Amori in the chat says, no, I would have watched it as a child. He would say that, wouldn't he?
He would.
It is true that it is extreme. I'm not desensitized. I just like that sort of thing.
I'll do this one. Then Stephen Amore says, the dog scene and the CPR never lose their impact. None of the scenes do. And then MC says, the thing from another world. That's the 50s version, isn't it? Then PCAT, The Thing from Another World for its time, is good and has a really good score. And then Stephen Amore says, yeah, but I was at a convent at the age of... Okay, we'll move on from that one. Stephen being naughty again.
Boy.
Me, Stephen Amore.
With my reputation.
At 3 in the morning, I should cocoa.
With my reputation.
When I was schooling the nuns on the Bible.
No.
Literally. MC says, love The Fly. Then Citizen 333. CGI sucks for the most part.
Yeah.
Let me else. Right, okay. Busy chat. Forgive me. And then Red Cannon, and I'll agree with Red Cannon. Fly 2, when his dog gets messed up in the teleporter. That gets me every time.
I've never seen that.
Oh,
like
it's
that
bad.
film,
It's up there.
That scene, no way, man. I can't.
It's
I can't
up
do
there.
it.
It's
I would have
bad.
gone back and
It's
watched
bad.
it, but that really just pissed me off and put me off that entire movie because of that scene.
It's proper heartstring stuff, that is.
Hated it. Hated that. Yeah, hated it.
Yeah, no, can't do it.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to Gina Davis removing her stockings, thanks. Or one of them.
Okay, so we'll go through some of the stills.
Just the opening of the ship landing, I think you see it sort of crashing into the Arctic was just, I love that bit as well.
Yeah. If I remember rightly, the titles are basically the same as the 50s version as well.
Mm.
With that kind of burning kind of light coming through effect.
Very good. Very, very good.
Brian, did you say...
It's good in just like Alien and Aliens, their opening title cards are incredible and really evocative and very, very subtle and minimal. And they really get across the mood and intensity and creepiness of the movie just by letters alone, you know. And this is another one just like it. They did back then. God, they were masters of what they did. They really were.
It's almost like you look at this and you think, "Oh, right, okay, this is going to be good."
Mm-hmm.
It's a comedy.
Tom Hanks in it, yeah.
I will. This is very sad because I was thinking the same thing earlier. Brian?
Stephen Amore in the chat says, would Koreans feel same way about the dog scenes? Oh, why'd you get? There's going to be a group of SNP stormtroopers going to take me out the door if I read the rest of that out.
Okay, I'll do it then.
What the hell, bro? What the hell?
Stephen Amore in the chat says, would Koreans feel the same way about those dog scenes or feel hungry? It's part of their culture. It is, unfortunately. The sad thing is I was thinking the same thing earlier.
Oh, my.
Thought crime.
Yeah, Stephen, you're a bad boy. Okay, so it's set in Antarctica, winter 1982. So does that mean now it's a period piece?
I
guess so.
No. Yes.
Well,
yes. Yes. Brown, you're a genius. Oh,
Go on,
sorry.
then.
I'm actually about to go.
I think you got him a little bit excited.
The one letter, that's what she said, the one letter that Burnett read out. Yeah, nobody seems to know or understand, apart from you, Brown, just the difference between a historical and period piece. I'm not going to go into it now. But yes, it's a period piece. It's not historical. It was contemporary, but then time passed. That's what it does. Yes, Brown, you are correct.
Can you believe 39 years ago? Jesus. Oh.
Time flies. Speaking of which, guys,
What
I've
happened?
got to pull a Scotty. I've got to go. I've got business in the real world.
Okay, you got family stuff yet?
Yeah, my son and I were going to go out and cause some ruckus out in meat space.
Nice.
Okay then, buddy. Thanks for turning up, yeah?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, Cockney.
Never a
Cheers,
chore.
Cockney. Have a good one.
That's all wank should be on tomorrow. Lots of new topics and just a quick news flash. I'm back on Twitter and I'm already getting into a
Yay.
debate with the Time Prophet of whether Star Trek is science fiction, or as I think it is, space fantasy. No more realistic than Star Wars. So if that's the kind of chat that floats your boat, then join me on Battle Wank on Sunday night. And if you're lucky,
we'll be
you might
there.
even get a show Sunday morning.
1:40. Okay.
Rock
All
and
right,
roll.
cheers,
Thank you,
buddy.
guys. Enjoy the rest of
All right,
it.
Bye,
Check out
Cockney.
the chat.
Okay.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
Right. Okay. So we'll pile through these, boys and girls. So the first scene is the Norwegians going after. Am I buffering?
No,
The
you're fine.
helicopter going after the dog is the opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
When I first watched that, I had some kind of profound thoughts. The dog shooting thing. My first thought was, "What a bastard trying to shoot the dog."
Yeah, right.
But
Right.
I wondered at the time, before I'd seen the rest of it, if they did that so that we could see humans hunting a less advanced life form just before the tables are turned and they themselves become hunted. But then after finding out, spoiler alert, it's the alien, I went, no, I'm just arty-farty talking through the hole in my bum.
I thought the dogs
Moving
were
on.
well trained in this film.
I've always wanted either an Alsatian or a German Shepherd dog, and after seeing this film, I want neither. Put me right off.
Yeah. Yeah. I will warn you, there's going to be scenes of gore.
Ew.
Cover your screen, Reni. I might do
I
the
know.
same.
I just did that. I'm like, oh, I don't want to see it.
Okay, so this is kind of an iconic scene where Kurt Russell's playing, McCready is playing chess,
I love this bit. It's just so cool.
and then he just cheating, bitch. He goes, old girl's losing it. And then it's like, blah, 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 checkmate. And he goes, cheating, bitch. Dish. Yeah.
That's how you feel when you log onto Twitter in the morning.
Well, that's me whenever I play games with other people. I'm very competitive. I'm like, you fucking cheater.
I know what you mean. I can't play games online because I have to have the person in the room so I can punch them if I get beat.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here. You know, what's the use if you can't cause them any harm?
PCAT in the chat. I love looking back at the old tech in the day. Love Russell's reaction when he loses the chess game. Trivia note: Adrienne Barber is the voice of the computer.
Yes, I didn't know that. She's
Top trivia.
She's very problematic in the chest area.
Moving on.
Sorry, I've got a friend who always goes on about her. He's obsessed.
I don't know if she is. Maybe I should.
You'll know her face when you see her.
Okay.
Or her chest.
As I said, very iconic scene, this. So the guys hear the helicopter and the shooting outside the US camp. The dog is, trying to get in with the Americans. I think the Norwegian throws a grenade and it slips out of his hand, and then the helicopter goes up. That's the dog again.
Good boy. Good bow.
See, even by licking his face,
Yeah.
he could be being assimilated. See, I saw this a few years ago at the cinema. They did kind of a one night showing, and even then, you have to watch this very, very carefully to kind of get all the subtle clues and the little hints that Carpenter was putting in there. And there were a few today that I picked up on that I'd never even picked up on before. But mainly because I suppose I was watching it very, very closely. This is where you need Mega Geek to point out all the kind of director stuff, don't you? So
Yeah. Wonder if he's okay.
I've not heard back from him. So okay, so that's Gary shooting at the Norwegian
That
through the
bit
window.
just reminded me of Top Secret when they're shooting out and they play Noughts and Crosses with the broken windows.
Yeah. And then the Norwegian gets it in the eye.
Nice.
I liked the Norwegian the guy who got shot. Did you see him twitch, Brian?
No, I didn't notice.
He got shot, fell down on the floor, and then he twitched. And it's little things like that that I kind of dig, but there you go. That's just me. It's the little touches, yeah. And then I don't know what the name of the guy is, but he's the dog handler, isn't he, for the Americans? And obviously that's the alien, which we didn't know at the time.
Any physical contact with skin can mean you've been assimilated. So yeah,
See,
you don't notice this at the start of the movie.
Yeah. So he could be assimilated now.
Yeah. Or that could be start of the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Terminator 2 and 3. And even Transformers to a bit where they see something and then they can assimilate and hide in plain sight.
See, me and MC are totally on this is why MC is the wingman of this channel, because me and him are on the same wavelength. Yes, it's foot twitches. And then I think it is Clark. Yeah. It did look very good on it, HD. As opposed to back on TV in pan scan version in shitty PAL.
Yeah, right. Low def. TTM screen. Yeah.
As I said before, that was one of the main reasons why I went to see it when it was one night only at Cineworld, because it was the HD version, and it just looked incredible.
It looks almost brand new.
Yeah.
You see it. That's one thing that blew me away when I was watching it. The vibrancy of the colours without being oversaturated.
Yeah. This is the body of the Norwegian on the table, and they're discussing what happened, and they're kind of saying that it's not cabin fever because they've not been there long enough, blah, blah, blah. So they decide to go see to the Norwegian camp to see what happened. Red Cannon in the chat says, John Carpenter is a master of little details. I highly recommend his B movie, In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, I do need to see that. I only saw a little bit of it, but it looked good.
This is the dog got into the base, and it was just wandering around, wasn't it, Matt?
It was I was so impressed. It's almost unreal. That dog's acting is incredible.
I know. That dog acted better than 2 seasons of Jodie Whittaker.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean,
took direction a lot better as well, and didn't walk around with its mouth slack open all the time.
Didn't shit on the floor either.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful dog, isn't it?
Yeah, Carpenter is trying to do a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Misperception, is it?
Misdirection.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Because looking at that scene, you're thinking, right, he's going for that guy who's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So straight away, he's planting the seeds of could it be him?
Yeah.
But as we've just said a moment ago, just by the husky licking the guy's face at the beginning, which I didn't even realize it could be him as well. And then Clark holding the dog.
Yep.
Right.
There was quite a kind of whodunit feature about this. You know, especially when you see them all together in the room. It's like, which one are you?
Exactly. And you're trying to remember back who was where and who did what. And
and he's
all the time.
And as Mr. Brown said, he's left a little clues here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you're kind of very clued up, you'll pick up on it.
Very clever stuff.
PCAT in the chat, I am also a very, very big fan of this. Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 is a great film. Then Red Cannon, Huskies are amazing.
You reading Stephen Amore's as well?
Oh no.
Reni, do you want to read this? I think you'll give this the comedy it deserves.
Alrighty. Stephen Amore in the chat. Oh my god. The dog didn't hump anyone's leg, unlike John Barrowman allegedly. Oh my goodness.
Stephen.
Stephen, you are a very naughty landlord.
You naughty, naughty boy.
You naughty, naughty boy. So McCready and was it the Doc? Go to the base, the Norwegian base, to find out what's happening.
Yeah.
I think I read on the trivia, this wrecked base is the American base totaled, and then they did the filming. Yeah. So effectively using one set. So they did everything they needed to do, trashed the set, and then did the this scene. So as I said, they're at the Norwegian base. Something's going on. All the generators off. It's -40. There's bodies. It's all smashed up.
I love things like that in movies where you're trying to figure out what's happened in a place, like they did in Aliens when they're walking through the complex for the first time and they see the aftermath of something, but you don't know what. And it's so compelling. You're trying to look around and look for clues and things, and it's like, oh my god, what happened here? You know, and it really draws you in. And they did that so well with this as well. And this thing with what the hell is that there? You know, is it like a casket? What the hell? Yeah,
there was a good few episodes of Red Dwarf that kind of copied this. I didn't know it copied it at the time, but I think especially the polymorph episode.
Yeah.
Red Cannon, if you look carefully on the right, you can see Obi-Wan talking to Luke. You can, mate. So obviously that's the ice the Norwegians recovered with the body. And then there's a body outside that looks like it had been torched. I could see why people would be turned off by this. Say if you went to watch E.T. 2 weeks previous.
Yeah, right.
And then saw this, you'd think...
Yeah, because people back then didn't really read reviews as much, I guess. They sort of they judged whether they wanted to see a film or not based on the trailer maybe and some pictures in a magazine possibly. That's it. They don't really... Reviewers were kind of few and far between. So I think people went cold into movies back then. These days, you practically know everything about the film before you go and see it. So it was... There would have been so many shocked people, I think, back then.
Yeah, I also think because the critics loved E.T., if I remember correctly, the critics panned this.
Yeah, because it wasn't what they were expecting. Yeah,
they totally panned it, not kind of realizing they were seeing a masterpiece at the time. But there you go.
I like to imagine a nice, happy couple that were delighted to see E.T. 1 week, and then
second
try and
date,
recreate that. And the second
date movie, yeah.
You just walk out of the cinema traumatized, and the guy's like, "Well, there goes my chances tonight, then."
Yeah. So,
yeah, pretty much.
So they bring the body back to the American base and then put it on the table, and you can see all the steam coming off it. And all the guys are just...
Retching.
Yeah, they are acting, aren't they?
That really sells it for me, the way they're all retching and ready.
right.
You feel it yourself. You can, it's
Yeah.
as if they're reacting to the smell as well, and it's
Yeah,
so visceral.
true.
Yeah. And bearing in mind some of these guys are like medical doctors, and they're going,
Yeah. So they're like, they've seen some shit, but they've seen nothing like this.
yeah.
Exactly.
Stephen Moray says, E.T. is very good writing. The Thing is excellent. Can't disagree, mate. And then MC goes, what do critics know? And then MC says again, I prefer this over E.T. I'm weird, though. Both are masterpieces for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I got this for the Mega Geek. Can you see old technology? Peek at it like this. Panasonic old VHS back in the old VHS days. I think that's Bennings when they're at the table playing poker or cards. And again, as I said, I didn't even put two and two together until today, because they're playing cards at the table and the dog bites him. Because that's why he's jumping up. And then he says to Clark, get the dog out and put it with the rest of the dogs.
Okay.
Or does it just touch him when he gets a bit of a fright?
So you don't know, do you?
Something for Cockney to argue for the next fortnight about.
Yeah.
You just don't know, do you? That took me about 4 attempts to get that at the right time. The things I do for you guys, it's not thrown together. This is where it starts to get bad, isn't it? So the husky is going into the pen with the other dogs.
This would have made a cracking episode of The Littlest Hobo, wouldn't it?
Oh my god.
It's taking a rather dark turn.
Educate me. The Dark Hobo.
You must know The Littlest Hobo.
No, that's what I'm saying. Educate me.
There's a place that keeps on calling me.
That's the one.
Down the road, that's where I want to be.
I think Lassie, except it's a German Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
You never watched The Littlest Hobo. What were you doing during the summer holidays?
Sleeping till midday.
Call yourself a child of the 80s.
Stream killer. Sorry, guys. I think I fucked that one up. Sorry. My fault.
I'm going to send you the trailer to that so you can get the songs trapped in your head.
Brown's fucking it for everybody. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Going back to the dog, though, Whittaker has got nothing on this dog. Thank you, Reni.
Yeah, it's true, though.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel fluffy. Thank you. And then the dog starts to split open, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's when it turns into something like, that this is the first point of the movie, isn't it? When you realise, like, oh, okay, right? Because before you're kind of clueless if you don't know anything about it. And then at this point you think, oh, right, so that's what it is.
Can you imagine being in the cinema in 1982 watching a husky dog split open, then these huge fucking, like, stick legs. Because bear in mind, this is all animated as well. This big fucking stick spider legs come out.
Animatronics, yeah.
And the dogs are going mental. And you're thinking, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd probably never ever seen anything like this before. This would have been like a sledgehammer to the head.
Oh, yeah. Especially after eating.
Good analogy.
Thank you.
Sorry,
2
Matt.
hours. As I said, the real star, Rob Boutine, just incredible.
Yeah, you've seen him in interviews. Yeah, he's awesome.
30 years ahead of his time, that guy.
Yeah, he's a genius. That's a genius.
So I think that's part of the dog, if I'm not buffering. And then this big kind of fucking twirly thing comes out, doesn't it?
Do you know what? I can't remember any of this sequence because I always skip it. As soon as the dog goes into the kennel, I skip ahead to when the first human gets like done in, and that's how I watch this film. So you're doing my nut right now, Brown, by putting the sequence on the screen because I always skip the dog.
You know what, right? You've just got to admire the artistry of Rob Boutine and the technical craft of this guy.
Imagination, yeah.
40 years ago, this was, boys and girls.
Yeah.
So the Americans hear all this noise going on, and then MacReady says to Childs, get the flamethrower. So he goes in, torches the fucking lot. I think they open the kennels and the dogs come flying out, don't they?
The surviving ones, yeah.
Yeah. And then what's left of what's been burnt, they put it on the autopsy table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the size of it. Can you imagine making... How much effort would have gone into making that look like that? Just the fucking size of it.
Yeah. So much material and construction to it.
I think you can see is it a Burns head or something of a dog there? So I
love this bit. Yeah, when they look at the video, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they've recovered. They also recovered the notes, which were in Swedish, as MacReady says, and then you've got the video of the the landing site. Apparently, one of those figures is John Carpenter. Apparently.
Didn't know that.
That's interesting.
And that's the spacecraft. Apparently, it'd been there. Was it 200 or 250,000 years?
Wow! Right? Yeah.
Or was it 20,000? I know it's either 20 or 200.
Predates human civilization. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great matte painting.
So you can imagine why it was a bit pissed if it had been there for 200,000 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the area the Norwegians cut out. Here we go. Advanced 8-bit Atari graphics back in the day.
Destroyed. Yeah, it does look like it's not.
Yeah. Spend the budget on a 30-second computer animation.
Strangely, it's the same graphics that they had on board the Nostromo in Alien as well. You think, they're like what, 200 years in the future or something?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I wonder what computer they were created on. I wonder if it had been maybe an Atari. I don't know.
Probably back then, it's like everyone thought, oh yeah, Atari. Look at Blade Runner. Everyone thought Atari's going to be massive in the future. Yeah. Right.
It's quite a clever way to explain what was happening without going into a lot of detail and messy dialogue.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah, it's very clear for audiences that are that are kind of turned off by wordy dialogue, and this kind of it's really beautifully shown, isn't it?
Yeah, see, the landlord says looks like an Atari 800. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Then Red Cannon says Man of Steel totally ripped this part off.
Can't remember that.
Peacock
remember that.
buried for at least 100,000 years. Right, I can understand why the alien was pissed off then.
Bored to death, I probably would have thought.
That's kind of similar to What was that?
They're coming for you.
That was similar to Transformers again. The alien tech buried for long in the ice for long enough.
It was buried in Antarctica or something. The glasses, or what Megatron was. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then,
this is really scary. This bit because it kind of dawns on you that right, if this thing gets out, this is what's going to happen. You can imagine the stakes right now. So they're piling on the gravitas for the movie.
Yeah, this is Dr. Blair, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doing these predictions. He's Wilfred Brimble's character.
Yeah, he was good.
I think he was in his early 40s when he made that.
He looks about 30 years older.
Hello.
He's always looked old.
Yeah.
So McCready and this other guy, I can't remember his name's in the helicopter discussing what this animal can do. And then they go back. The alarm goes off, doesn't it? Because they're all are they in the I think they put the body into the storage room.
Oh, this bit's amazing. Yeah, he just walks in, doesn't he, casually, and he just sees him in the corner like that. Like,
yeah.
Oh
I think the body that was under the grey blanket moved because they thought it was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Bennings, I think it's Bennings, he gets assimilated.
Because that's very, very quick, that scene back then. It was very, very quick. And you only get a little glimpse of it. That's all you need. And you're like, what the hell did I just see?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see this. He's almost fully formed,
Yeah, runs outside and he's got the big claw hands, hasn't he? And then he
hands out quite.
He does the scream, doesn't he? The big alien scream.
I love that bit. Yeah.
Thank you, Picat. Fuchs. Fuchs. And then they just torch him.
And he just that screaming sound he makes when he goes up in smoke. It's like, oh my god! It's like just the sounds are so great in this film as well.
It's like the invasion of the body snatchers.
Kind of, yeah, in a way, yeah. The sound in that film was great as well. Yeah, they just kick over a barrel, don't they? And then throw him.
And then they're making sure that he goes completely, that they torch him totally. Because I think they've realised at this point with the discussion in the tractor thing that they think, well, dead. If they think it's dead, it's still basically alive.
Mm-hmm.
So you just can't really kill it other than fire.
Yeah, it's got to be burnt completely. Yeah,
there's still selectivity. That was the line. And then the Doctor is just I think he's kind of really. I don't know if he's been assimilated at this point, but I thought he's doing this to make sure that nobody gets out of the base alive, so it can't get into the.
Yeah, he's trying to destroy everything, so it never gets away, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's part that, and there's part a kind of Jack Torrance thing about it, but it's just losing the plot too.
Yeah. That's the good thing about it is that the craziness that kind of inhabits everyone's minds because they're stuck in the Arctic. They've got no link to civilization, and they've got this thing that's out to get them, and they would just like flip out and go nuts, So, and he plays this so well in this film.
Yeah.
But as you see later, he uses some of when he's trying to make his escape craft, he uses some of this material, doesn't he? So is he doing it to?
Yeah, well, you don't know, do you?
So you just don't know. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if he passed the blood test or not up to that point.
Yeah, I didn't got to that stage yet. So.
When I saw the spacecraft it was making, my first assumption was that it was the alien taking the parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Come to that later.
So they decided they were going to do a blood test, weren't they?
Yeah.
And compare it against.
Sabotaged, didn't it? Yeah.
Literally the same scene.
And everyone's suspecting everyone of anything that goes wrong. Everyone gets suspected as well. And it's the paranoia in this movie is so perfectly structured. And you're very, very, very uneasy throughout the entire movie. You never feel safe, ever.
That's the true psychological horror element of this film that makes it work so well.
Yeah. Is Reni still sitting there with her hands over her face?
Like MC in the chat says, wake up, Reni.
I'm here. I feel bad because I don't really have anything to contribute. Unlike Cockney, I can't fake my way through something pretty much. So,
you're getting an education of the movie right now anyway, because,
pretty much.
Yeah.
I think somebody in the chat said earlier, Carpenter wanted to make a pure man's movie.
Did that?
Yeah, I really am such a girl when it comes to gory stuff. I can't deal with it. So bad. I can do scary. I just can't do gory.
So they're all kind of suspecting each other at this point. Somebody had thrown a McCready's shirt about.
Trying to frame him. Yeah. Divert attention away.
Strange way to spell McCready.
Yeah. After the doctor had gone berserk, they threw him in the utility shed or the tool shed. And this gets me that he's put a hangman's noose there.
He's trying to convince them that he's perfectly sane while looking through a hangman's noose.
Yeah, I think he constructed that so he can off himself to save himself from getting killed, I think, isn't it? Or getting assimilated, something like that. Anyway, that's the idea behind it. I'm not sure if
he's got the hangman's trapdoor to go down as well.
Right. But I mean, if you've had weapons and everything taken away from you and any means of hurting anyone, I guess it's the only way that you can off yourself before it gets to you, I suppose.
Yeah. Brian, do you want to read the comment?
Red Cannon in the chat says, exactly. The genius of this film has nothing to do with the horror or the gore. It's on who can you trust.
Yeah.
It's what makes it a classic.
Your senses are being assaulted from multiple fronts, really, because you've got the visceral horror element, you've got the body horror, and then you've got the paranoia as well. And then you've got the shock and surprise elements to it as well, which John Carpenter's so good at doing. So you never know when the next sense of nastiness is going to come out and hit you from somewhere, And you've got the paranoia behind all those, always like throbbing away and brooding and sort of growing, and you never know when something's going to snap there. And then with it being Carpenter as well, you have these great sort of camera tricks where you expect something to come from one direction and it comes from the other, that kind of thing. So this film is so unsettling to watch. It really is. And I totally get why Reni wouldn't want to watch it.
Well, she's gone critical mass.
Yeah, it's too much. It's just too much.
Bishop Moore in the chat. Next week's film, Frozen for Reni.
Can you put Stephen's? Can you put Stephen's comment back up again?
This one?
Yeah, the noose shows that he's avoiding assimilation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but could it also be the thing itself doing a bit of misdirection?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to think, isn't it? You're supposed to doubt and try, and you're only given a second or two to work this out visually, and after that, you kind of you're still trying to work it out. Then the next scene comes in, and you're pushed forwards, and you haven't got long enough to try and work it out. So you get that same sense of restlessness, and you're put in the same kind of dilemma almost as the protagonist.
You're
Can
right
I
there,
just
Reni.
say, yeah, yeah, evidently, I'm having issues here too. So I just want to say to Bridget Moore, I actually don't like Frozen.
Scary.
I know, like one of the few females out there that doesn't like the movie Frozen from Disney. I honestly don't like their newer stuff, to be honest. So just want to let you know. And I do not find Kurt Russell hot. Just want to answer those two questions.
I knew you
But
were
yeah.
going to say that about Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks. But yeah, I think I'm having a combination of device issues plus like wireless issues.
Gore
So,
issues as well.
Yeah, there's that too. So I might tap out here in just a minute to let you guys like go on and not worry about me interrupting. So
There's not all that much to go, so
okay.
So the kind of divide. McCready's had an idea of how to figure out Uzu. Because at this point, nobody's trusting anybody, are they? So,
Just before you've switched, I thought the scenes with the flares, especially outside, were absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
very JJ lens flare.
I was just thinking that happens naturally and not done in CGI.
Yeah, I did like that. Yeah,
it's the way the colours are and the lights and dark.
Yeah,
superb.
It's the blue coldness, isn't it, versus the bright red of the flares. Yeah,
Yes.
And the fire later.
I think this is the point where McCready realised that it is light in his shack. He said it was turned off the day before, and it was on, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love
So
that.
So they go to investigate,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think this is where he comes back because he's trying to get in.
Oh, they lock him out, don't they?
Yeah, they lock him out. You ain't fucking coming back in here. Yeah, so yeah. Again, got that again. And then he gets into the storeroom with the dynamite, and you know what? Apparently that was real dynamite.
Oh shit!
Now that would have been amazing.
We're all suspecting Kurt Russell at this point, aren't we? We're all suspecting McCready because they've given like actual genuine evidence as to why he could be infected. So we're all sitting there thinking, shit. Yeah.
He looks very Ulysses 31 in that picture.
I thought that, yeah. But he almost looks like dead as well, doesn't he? So we're thinking like, geez, did something get him, you know?
Frostbite, probably.
That's it.
And then this child's there trying to talk him round. You're not fucking coming in here. And then he's got obviously the dynamite and the flare. And then
oh my god,
the guy, I forget what his name is, but he effectively he has a heart attack, doesn't he?
Yeah, they have to perform CPR, don't they?
Yeah. Here we go.
This is one of the best moments in cinema history. It really is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Reni.
Norris, Vance Norris, the character.
Yeah, again, this sequence is just Boutine at the top of his game.
Yeah. I watched the interview with him talking about this scene. It was fascinating.
Yeah. That was the guy's real head.
It was. He was going through the table, wasn't he? And then they put the prosthetics around his neck. Yeah.
Yeah.
What made it so great? Oh my god, so great!
I remember the first time I saw that on TV. Just totally unexpected. It's like,
it blew my mind. I was doubled up with, oh my god, that's awesome. That's so inventive and original. But also like, Jesus Christ, it's horrific. You know, I didn't know what to think. You know, and it's so quick as well. You haven't got time to absorb what's going on. It's so fast.
And then the next thing, the jaws just close, and it's like
his ribs are turning into teeth, aren't they? Yeah, and then they bite his arms off. Yeah. And it's all so fast as well, and you're kind of like, Jesus, what the hell? You haven't got time to dwell on any of it.
Yeah, then obviously you've got the guy with it was the amputee. I think I must have not got that photograph, so I do apologise for that.
It's just one horrific thing after another, isn't it? It just keeps hitting you. This whole sequence keeps hitting you.
And then the head goes up onto the ceiling as a spider, and then I think they torch it, don't they?
I love this. This is a really good sequence there because it's got all this slime as well around that spider on the ceiling, and they've kind of made it almost like it's defying gravity. So the slime's kind of going in the wrong direction and stuff, and it's like dripping up and all this kind of weird stuff happening. Yeah, and then there's two heads, isn't there? One of them's like on the spider creature on the ceiling, and then the other one detaches from the body. And this whole sequence, he's like, I was watching it and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I thought, my God, we've just had that and that and that, and now we're having this. You know, you don't know what to think. Your eyes can't look away because it's like a train crash, and you just don't know what's going to happen next. And it's so creative. God, how did they come up with this stuff? You know, and the head detaches like this. It's mind blowing. I
think I read that all these were basically one take prosthetics.
Amazing.
I think maybe this one though had to be done twice. Yeah, then the head just goes off the.
But they're all distracted, aren't they, by what else is going on in the room, and they don't see this. Yeah. But that whole sequence with the head coming off, well, you didn't quite show it there, but there's all these like strands of like fire, things like coming from the head, and they're all sort of popping and exploding like pus everywhere. It's just incredible detail, utterly disgusting, but incredible detail. And then the head, obviously, the tongue flicks out and pulls itself along. It's like, oh my God, what next? And you just sit there thinking, like, how can this get any worse? How can it get worse?
Well, it does.
Yeah, it does.
I think what's coming up now is probably the most iconic scene for me.
Yeah.
The head, when the legs, the big spider legs just come out in real time.
We've got arachnophobia in here as well.
And it's almost like you can hear the branches snapping.
Yeah.
With
this is incredible effects, isn't it? How they made the legs come out of the head like that.
Yeah.
And just, oh my God.
At the risk of annoying everyone,
go on,
in both the chat and on the panel, and maybe it's because I saw this older than you guys, but in this scene, it kind of lost me. To me, it took the film from, at least in the next couple of scenes, into more of the kind of arena of black comedy,
right?
Rather than terror. Because I'm watching that, I'm thinking,
and even
they kind of make a joke about it.
Yeah.
I get that though, because it's the creature's just ridiculous. Really, it can do anything, and the fact that it does. I remember watching it at like 11, 12 years old, and watching it, and I was actually laughing as well as being completely disgusted because you think, this is ridiculous. This thing is ridiculous, but it's also horrible and deadly and horrific, you know. And you have this mix of turmoil, emotion, and you don't know what quite to think and what to feel. And it does. The film brilliantly plays with those things, I think. So you're not just feeling scared and horrified. You do have that element of it's so horrible and crazy that you're laughing, and and that almost mirrors the craziness that the characters are going through. So you're kind of having this sort of crisis of emotion, and they're having a crisis of emotion. And I think that's like meta on a complete like crazy level. It really is.
But good meta.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Stephen Moray says, how did they come up with this? Carpenter was a fan of Wacky Backy. I think Rob Boutine was as well. Or maybe
I'll tell you what, it worked.
At the time, I remember thinking, what kind of sick mind comes up with this?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, when I first saw it, I didn't know whether to be horrified by what I was seeing or horrified by how they could come up with the ideas for it. You know?
Yeah.
Yes, that's something a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then there's this bit which I think was aimed to take out. This was the humor bit, wasn't it? When he goes, "You've got to be fucking kidding!"
Yeah, because it's so crazy, isn't it? It's so unbelievable that you just. I can remember I saw this and I was just laughing, but I loved it. I wasn't laughing because I thought, "Oh fuck this is ridiculous." I was laughing because, you don't know how to feel really, and normally in situations like that, you have a bottleneck of emotion. You just end up laughing, don't you? So that's what happened, I think.
Yeah. Can you imagine? As I said, 1982. You're taking your girlfriend second day. You've seen E.T. week before.
Relationship killer.
Yeah. So this was where the guy got shot because I think was it McCready was
suspecting him.
They were trying to get the flamethrower off him, weren't they?
Oh, and he wouldn't give it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was going to kill Childs, was he not?
Yeah.
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 And the guy lunged at him with a knife.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
No
took him
choice
out.
but to put him down.
Yeah.
That makes you a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I liked that. That was clever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very. God, these sequences, man, with the Petri dishes. Jesus.
Yeah. Because I think he came up with the idea when they torched the spider head, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As ridiculous as that scene was to me, it was vital that he got that, because it gave McCready that bit of information that then gave him the idea to take the
Yeah.
blood and do this.
Mm.
I didn't like it where they cut the thumb with the scalpel. 'Cause you
Ooh,
could see all
nice,
the
nasty.
blood just. I know it's a simple effect to do, but you could just see all the blood pouring out. It's like, oof.
I'm terrible with things like needles in movies and things.
Yeah.
I can't stand scenes. I have to look away. I have to look away, and this is similar to that. Yeah. Oh my God, this bit when you put the needle in the Petri dish,
Yeah.
it just jumps out. Yeah.
That was that wasn't a real hand. That was a prosthetic with the
Holding the dish.
with the the animated
Creature.
blood thing.
Mm. So that's how they did that sequence, because it really does look like it's leaping out of the Petri dish. Well, that's what you think,
Yeah.
but it's obviously hidden in the hand. Yeah, yeah. Very, very well done.
Yeah, can you imagine again in the cinema? Because you don't expect this. It just screams.
Yeah, horrible sound again, isn't it? Yeah, it's almost like the chest burster sequence, isn't it? In Alien, where you're shocked and you're like, "What the hell?" His face starts melting. Oh my God!
Yeah, because they're all they're all tied up in a chair, aren't they? And then
they're tied down because they're forced them to do the test. Yeah, that's right.
And then it's been revealed, hasn't he?
Who is actually the It must have been a nightmare making this film and keeping track of who's who and who's the thing when you're writing it.
That does look very Total Recall, doesn't it?
Does a bit.
Score.
Yeah.
And
they're
then
trying to get away from it. They're all tied down. Oh my God.
Keeping them all tied up was a bit of a bad move. I thought that one through a bit better.
They didn't really think ahead with that.
I'll just say, Red Cannon, this is the scene, the Petri dish scene, took us all back to science class in school. This made the film real for all of us.
Oh, yeah. Someone had a great idea of a Halloween party a few years back and posted the pictures online of serving Jell-O shots in Petri dishes.
You wouldn't want to do that after watching this. Then the alien grabs the guy, doesn't he? I forget what his name is.
Fuchs. No, Windows. Sorry.
Yeah, Windows. Who was ironically clear, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Oh, this is a horrific sequence, isn't it? He grabs his head and it's like his head opens up into this kind of maw. Oh my God.
Spinny thing with teeth.
He flips him around. Yeah.
Then they torch it because they finally get the flamethrower going, don't they? Because
they're desperately. It's that moment. It's almost like the keys in the ignition in a horror movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you drop the keys and you're like, "Oh, for God's sake!" You know, and the flamethrower won't work at that moment. Yeah. Brilliant. Again, Carpenter's bloody genius.
And then he just goes running out on fire, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then just falls on the floor.
And then the guy who he assimilated, Windows
is sat there, isn't he? Just against the wall, of course,
barbecued. Yeah.
That's 2 down in one incident. Yeah.
And then they're going back to the docks shack because they've noticed the door's open.
So something got to him.
And then he's gone. You see the hole under the floorboards, which are removable.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go down and see the ship, don't they, with all the bits of toolkits and stuff that the doctors...
Yeah.
So more real dynamite, throw it in. And then that goes up. And I think that's the moment where they decide that he says nobody's getting out alive, don't they?
Yeah, they know they're all going to die. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bleak, isn't it, this film?
Yeah. Because I thought, why? I think the alien, because I thought, well, this is a big plot hole. Because all the alien has to do was to go somewhere and just lay in the ice. But I think the alien was so desperate to get away that he didn't want to lay in the ice for another 100,000 years. So
after being woken up, I suppose he thought it's time to go and assimilate a population of people. Yeah.
I best crack on.
Yeah. He probably didn't. There's probably like barely little life on the planet when he landed. So and now he realizes there's a whole civilization.
Yeah. So they're basically torching the base. And then they go down where the was it the generator, and then realize the generator's gone, and then Dr. Blair is there, and he sticks his fingers into Gary's mouth.
I love that bit. Oh my god! And the next thing you see of Gary is being dragged away.
Yeah.
That was a jump scare. That one. That was the one that made me.
There's some
just
great,
appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, there's some great audio effects in this film when that kind of sound that goes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
you know, when you see like a black shadow walk past or something like that, and it's it's all over the movie. It's so good.
And then the floor just goes up.
Yeah,
as the aliens coming towards, I think McCready.
Yeah,
you can just about make out the alien head and the teeth.
Yeah, there's like this is really weird because you can see, which I didn't notice originally. There, you see the guy's face on the left, and then on the right of it, sticking out.
Yeah,
on the right of his head. Sorry, sticking out is like this big sort of horrible, giant sort of carnivorous creature
with huge teeth.
Yeah, and at that point you're thinking, I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. I can't figure out what it is. Yeah. And then your camera pans down, and you see all these other things in it, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So they've thrown the dynamite into where the alien is, and then it just it all goes.
Yeah.
And we assume
throws it in the mouth of the creature, doesn't he?
And then
he says now. He says something really cool, doesn't he?
Assimilate this or something. I don't know. Or is that Star Trek?
Swallow this.
Hey.
And then boom, it all goes up.
So you know, that's it, gone.
And then the last scene, I'm annoyed at myself because I didn't quite get the scene. The story is, you can see, to be able to tell if it's an alien or not, you can see the reflection in the eyes of the person. So if the person has got like a reflection of light, it's human.
Right.
But if it's alien, there's no reflection of light. It just stays black.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
I just didn't quite get this, but you could see the light reflection in Kurt Russell's eyes from the fire.
Right.
So he's human. Childs hasn't got one.
Right, interesting. So we don't know. It's just a suggestion, but we don't know.
Well, I think one of the. Why am I thinking Dean Cundy, the guy who, the cinematographer, said that? That was the visual clue to be able to tell if a person was an alien.
Right.
It was shot so there was no reflection of light in a person's eyes. So if you watch it again, maybe watch out for it if you're brave enough to watch it again. I think I've kind of satisfied my wanting to see it for a few more years.
Yeah, it's not a film that you watch on a weekly basis, is it? This film? Yeah. But I love it when films have that kind of a level of detail. I really do. You know, it really adds to the rewatchability, and it just utter classics that last forever. Yeah.
The ending reminded me of the Killing Joke comic at the very end.
Oh. Without
the killing, but obviously you see at the end if you look closely enough in that comic. But it was that kind of
with Batman and the Joker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the theme.
PCAT says the line
Fuck you
was,
too.
and
Yeah.
fuck you too.
Yeah, it's a good line. Love that.
I think Peacat is a big fan of this film, if I remember correctly. And then Red Cannon says, last scene is the best scene. 2 old men drinking to the end of time.
Mm.
Yeah. Nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
Red Cannon.
So I normally ask for a paragraph or a sentence at this point. Brian?
Well, as you know,
as a newbie watcher?
Yeah, as you know, I hadn't seen this film. I was actually very reluctant to watch it because it's not my kind of thing. Having done so, I'm really glad that I did. While it was utterly horrific, it is an absolute masterpiece. I think it's fantastic. You can see how many films and TV shows that it's influenced that I didn't realise were influenced by it.
Oh yeah,
but kind of seeing everything now in a whole new light. It's incredible from start to finish. The pacing is excellent.
Yeah, that's
not
the easiest thing to get right.
Yeah, it's not too slow that it'd be boring, but it's just enough to create the right amount of tension. And I think it's so well balanced throughout. It's difficult for me to think that a film as gory as that would be so intelligent and so well crafted.
Not your typical slasher, bloody horror kind of type.
No, it's not. And I think the psychological elements of it was just the icing on the cake. And I think it was mentioned in the chat. It's really what makes the film work and grounded so well.
Yeah.
Especially the seeds of doubt being planted early.
Yeah.
And just going through some of the scenes, again, you realise how well it's done and how the little seeds have been planted all the way through. Excellent. I won't be watching it again, though.
Yeah.
Reni, do you want a sentence or maybe 2 words?
Yeah, I know. I don't really have much to
Too
add.
gory.
I'm really sorry, you guys. I tried so hard to watch, but I just, I'm not good with gory stuff. It really freaks me out. I think the acting was pretty good from what I saw. And like I said, I think I passed through the living room when my parents were watching it on video when I was a kid. But I was just like, what is this? Nope, not watching it. Nope. And, but yeah, it was really hard for me to make it past that scene with the dog. I'm like, that's it. I'm done.
The dog is bad. Yeah.
It's just hard. But I mean, Kurt Russell's a great actor. So is Wilford Brimley. It's just, definitely not for me, but I think it's, psychological horror is amazing. It's just, man, if they had less gore, it would definitely be better, in my opinion, for me.
It's right up there.
Yeah.
Stephen Amore in the chat, and I know this is true because I've read this. This movie is shown on the first night to new crews arriving at the UN Antarctic base.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Or is it played once a year? I know it's played once a year somewhere. Or am I getting my films mixed up? Matthew, sentence, paragraph?
Oh, yeah. God, I don't own this film, and I really should go and buy it on Blu-ray.
One of the few DVDs I own.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of stopped buying DVDs really because everything's digital. But
I think I paid a $5 for it.
Yeah, I do need to get this on some format or other because it's just an utterly brilliant film, and I just wish there was a way of editing the dog scene out because I just want to. Every time I watch it, I just skip ahead a couple of minutes. There we go. There's Kurt Russell with his flamethrower. That's better. There we go. And then for the rest of the movie, great, absolutely love it. And I've always loved it, even though I've always been horrified, and I was horrified to almost sickness the first time I watched it when I was 11 years old. I still recognize how awesome a film it is.
Yeah,
right up there with the Alien movies and Predator, etc. And there's an incredible, because Dark Horse Comics got the license for this in the 90s, and they made an incredible sequel comic with beautifully painted art.
Yes,
and it's mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
And it carries on perfectly, and it's like, oh my God, I wish someone would have made this into a movie. And I will send it to whoever's interested. So just drop me a DM on Twitter, and I'll send it to you.
Yes, I'm interested.
It's a 2-issue sequel, direct sequel, and it's beautifully painted. It looks like a movie. It's just, oh my God, it looks like a movie.
Yeah, it's great.
it plays, it reads like a movie. It's the pacing is there, everything, and it could easily be a direct sequel to the film. And I wish they'd made it. God, I wish they'd made it. I can't really see Reni being that interested in it, but it's because there's a lot of gore in the comic itself. Not like over the top.
It's a good comic.
Not over the top gore, but gore where it's needed to be for the effects. You know, for the to get the make the scene effective.
Yeah.
But my God, is it ever perfectly in tone with the film? And it's that we're going back to a time when things used to be in perfect synergy with each other like that, you know, and people really cared about the things they were making. They weren't just churning things out just to make a quick buck or to peddle some kind of social message. It was just because they loved what they were doing. They loved the film and they wanted to see it done justice. And the comic, my God, it's great. If anyone out there wants to read it and they haven't read it yet, then I'd strongly advise seeking it out and reading it, because it's one of the best comics I've ever read in my life. And it again ends on a cliffhanger as well, like the end of this film does. So this is one of the best films I've ever seen in my life, and not just because I like horror and sci-fi, but because of you can really appreciate everything that's gone into it, and the genius. That's gone into it, and the craftsmanship that's gone into it, and the practical effects, and how incredible John Carpenter was as a director. This was probably my favorite film he ever made.
I think this was probably peak Carpenter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I just think everything kind of came together on this. It's like I'm going back through the stills now, and it just looks.
It's just one of those films where it's just perfect, brilliant. You know, like Back to the Future and Alien, and you know, you get one of those films every so often that's just so perfect, and this is just one. This is just another one.
Apart from the dogs.
Yeah, just skip that scene. Don't need that.
As I said, this is one of the few DVDs I own, and I'm like you, Matthew. I saw it first on ITV as a teenager.
Yeah,
and I'd seen nothing like this.
No, I hadn't. It really blew my mind, you know, because it kind of opened my mind to what's possible with films and stories and designs and effects and things. Whereas before that, I was only used to things like the spaceships in Star Wars and Close Encounters and whatever, you know. And you see it taken to a completely different place in this film, and it can change someone's brain, you know, a film like this.
Yeah. MC says Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing are my fave. JC,
all great. The Fog, wow, that's just God. I love that film.
Halloween, I love Halloween. Great film. So yeah, as I said, one of the few DVDs I own. I watched it again today. Still amazing. There's only one small effect that kind of gives it away, with the spider on the kind of, I think it was on like a remote control wheels. So it didn't quite look, but other than that, just absolutely top draw on every level. And as I've said many times on this stream, Rob Boutine was the real star of this.
I think he was, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the fact that you can't tell that they're effects and they are practical effects. Yeah. These are things built.
Real. They are real.
They're right there in the space with the actors. And you make a film like this today, and you just like detach from it because you know it's CG, and you just like whatever. Might as well just be a drawing, you know. But back then you knew it was there.
Well, as we said earlier, the producers or the filmmaker of The Thing 2011 knew what they had to do, practical effects, and the studio interfered.
That's it, yeah. So annoying. So annoying.
So, guys, I think that's it. I think we'll get out of Dodge. I will just put this up on the screen. Dalek 451 says, Reni, do you want to read it?
Yes. So what film are we doing next week?
You know what? Can I just make a suggestion? You don't have to go with this, but I know I would love to cover this film. I would love to talk about Close Encounters, but I mean, it's up to everyone else. But you know, that's my vote.
Right. Okay. You might be disappointed then.
I don't mind if you've already got one.
Do you know what I was going to do? Right, because we said previously this film was released in the US as the same day as Star Trek 2
Wow, I didn't know that.
and Blade Runner.
Right.
So, which film do you think we should do next week? What do you reckon, guys?
Out of those two?
Yeah.
I personally prefer Star Trek, but
Yeah, same.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, please
So-
no
Because I
more Blade
bought-
Runner.
I bought the HD, I bought the Blu-ray of Wrath of Khan, and I still haven't watched that version of it. So
Oh wow.
So, guys, next week, I think we will be doing Star Trek 2, The Wrath or The Wrath of Khan.
nice.
Yes?
Good for me.
And then maybe, I don't know yet, maybe Blade Runner the week after. I don't know yet.
I think the problem we've got with Blade Runner is
Been
who
done to death.
who would we get to talk about it?
Yeah, it's been done to death. And then like, oh gosh. I know Cockney will enjoy that though, but I don't know, man.
That was a jerk.
I think, though, Matthew, Close
Sorry, mate.
Encounters, we should do it ASAP. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I'm always up for that.
Because I know
It's
the
fine
Mega
by
Geek
me.
could be more than happy doing that. So,
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'm just
same here. Same
used to
here.
watching.
Same here. So, guys, I will just thank everybody in the chat. It's always the usual hardcore group of guys. And so, thank you, peeps. I know we always can count on you. And as I say many times, we are nothing without the chat. So I would just thank you guys. I would say like, share, subscribe, but I know you've already done that. Or maybe just tell your friends about this stream if you enjoyed it. I will thank the guests. So I will say thank you on behalf of Cockney. Reni, thank you.
Thank you, as always, Mr. Brown. Always a pleasure and always an honor to be up here with you guys. Brian and Matt, always a pleasure to speak with you as well. Thank you so much for always putting up with me. You guys are awesome.
And
We
yourself, Ren.
appreciate you
Oh, thank you.
going out of your way to be with us tonight. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time, yes?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a good night. Love
We
talking
got
about
we got there. Thank God.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed listening to your insights, Matt. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
If you've not seen it, it's kind of it's like me with films that you guys have seen and I haven't. I'm kind of like I'm glued to it as well,
Yeah.
just to listen to everyone's stuff that I never would have noticed myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not Brian, thank you.
Thanks very much. I'm slightly sad that we didn't have Mega Geek's presence
Yeah.
here. I think I
Yeah,
would really
same
love to hear
Yeah,
his take on a lot of these things. So it's a sad loss this week.
Yeah.
Hope we see him again soon.
I know. Sorry, Brian. I know there's specifically certain films that I know Mega Geek loves,
Yeah.
and yes, I think we were. We needed him, but there you go. We got there. So, yeah.
Thanks again to Reni and Demon. It's always great talking to you guys. And Cockney, of course, in his absence. Thanks again, Mr. Brown, for the invite. It's never taken for granted, and it's always appreciated. Thanks.
Well, who else is going to do Not Brian Young Recommends?
We've all got to go to the toilet
break.
sometime.
Yes.
Body break.
So that's it, guys. So, chat, thank you, guys. You are wonderful. Cockney will be on tomorrow. I think we'll be doing Battle Wank. Guests, thank you. I think we shall take our leave even. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thanks, chat.
Bye. Good night, chat. Thank
Don't
you.
have bad dreams.